Okay.
Refresh.
It's on. It says we're live. Hello.
Let's have a look.
Let's just wait for the world to catch up. Now, who are we waiting for? Chris. Okay, cool. Now, did Chris message me? He did.
Mine. Sorry, mine.
Okay, it's going now. I see it.
It's on?
Sorry.
The red light's still on.
Yeah.
Hey, let us know in the chat if we're streaming. Big hello to everyone. We haven't quite started yet. I've got 30 seconds before I press the magic button.
Okay.
All right, we will go to here.
Australian telephone and internet service provider.
Yay! We actually have a stream, and we started correctly this week. Welcome to Synth Geekery, episode 209, and it's the, what is it, the 15th of July? I can hear myself, so someone's playing audio in the background. Please stop doing that, whoever that is. It's 9 p.m. here in Perth, Western Australia. Big hello to you in your part of the world, if it's morning, midday, afternoon, or night. It doesn't matter, because you're in front of your screen, wherever that is, and you're listening. Well, I do apologise for that, but you're listening to me. Anyway, let's not listen to me anymore. Let's listen to some other awesome people. We have got a full house this week, but a few different faces, but not unknown faces, shall we say. So we have Darren, of course, big DTH man, holding up the fort there. We've got Andy, Synth Addict, who's in the top right-hand corner. Down below me is Chris, holding up the other part of my wonderful city down here. Big hello to you, Chris. And not last and not least is Eddie. It's
okay.
Awesome having Eddie. No, but wait, there's more. We're going to have people on StreamYard. Okay, well, stop telling me about pin chat. I will give everyone the link to StreamYard in the chat right now, so everyone can go and just go crazy. Right? StreamYard, where's my link? StreamYard, there. It's actually really easy. We never ever change this link. So if you actually bookmark this link, bit.ly/Ranzee StreamYard. There it is there. In fact, I think I may even have... Did I keep this? I think I might have kept it. No, I didn't. Okay, I didn't keep it. I've got the Discord link though, haven't I? Yes, I do. Okay, cool. So there's Discord. We've got the Discord link. It's bit.ly/Ranzee Discord. You can check out Discord anytime you like. Don't go and do it now because you're going to watch this live wonderful synth show now anyway. But Discord is kind of carrying on the conversation during the rest of the week. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you're not on Discord, Chris, why should they be on Discord? What's the reason they should be on Discord? He's muted.
No pressure.
Obviously,
I don't know.
no reason.
Oh, hang on, right. Wrong button.
Gotcha.
There he is. We can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. I pressed the exact wrong button the first time. Yes, no, the reason why you should be on Discord because it's awesome.
It is.
Nah, it's because you get to have more nuanced conversations and you can get really deep technical questions succinctly answered. You get the combined hive knowledge of all the people that are smart people that are on it, and and you can put pictures. You can. It's just
Links.
It's good stuff. Yeah,
Yep.
you put pictures,
Images,
links, and you
videos.
and of course you can search for stuff. So if you've had a conversation 4 weeks ago and you can't remember what you said or what someone else said, you just search for it, and all that information is there. It's really good for that.
Brilliant. Well, we got you, mate. Welcome to the show. Yeah. How's your week been?
My week's been eventful. Actually, my last 2 weeks have been eventful. It started with one of my close friends going into hospital with a bleed on the brain.
Ouch.
So that hasn't been too much fun, certainly for him anyway. Fortunately, he is doing much better, and he's discharged from hospital. And the only scary thing about it is they don't know why, which is always fun.
Wow.
Yeah, one of those.
So I'm just close friends.
Sorry to hear that, mate.
It makes everything go a bit crazy in the head and stuff like that.
Best wishes to your friend anyway.
Yeah, cheers,
Thank
cheers, mate. He'll
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, he knows about you guys. He saw that
Cool.
reunion that the the video I did with the for your 200th show. Yeah, that confused the hell out of me. I had to explain who Rave Days was and things like that. So that was awesome. No, he's a good fun bloke. So he kind of got it pretty quickly. But my week, my last week started with getting the Pro 800, which I have down here. It's a lovely thing, lovely Pro 800. Well, that's actually my second Pro 100. The first one went back.
It certainly is.
The first one went back to the shop, unfortunately. It was lovely, except that it had a rather quirky noise circuit.
It did. It was awesome. You should have kept it.
Well, I was tempted. I was very tempted to try and work out how to turn it back into a switch that I could turn from evil to good. But
Good switch. Doesn't everyone want one of those?
Yeah, I want
do.
an evil switch. So I had to settle for just sampling the crap out of it. So I actually have 3 minutes of it sampled on my hard drive, and I'll of course put that up on publicly so that people can download it for their entertainment or just for creative purposes. It was pretty weird. It was kind of like a 78 record with cracks and popples in it pops in it instead of noise. So I decided to take it back. And I was a bit nervous about it because I thought, are they going to be able to hear this? Is it going to be too subtle? I don't know these people really well. So I went into the store. I said, okay, this is my situation. He said, "Oh, come over here and we'll have a listen to it." And I've got one set up here already.
Today we're going to be looking at.
Sorry, keep going. That was my fault.
And sorry, yeah.
I was still setting the show up.
Yeah, no worries. So I played the noise on the unit on the bench, which was pretty normal. He said, "Yep, okay." And then I played mine, and he visibly recoiled and said, "I'll get you another one." There was no trouble. It was very obvious that it was completely wrong, and reasonably smart people.
That's what you want.
So that's what you want. So he just
Was that store
went out
DJ?
the store. It was.
Yeah, they're pretty cool there. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, he was pretty good. I haven't met him before. I think it was Michael was his name, if I recall. So shout out to him if he watches the stream. But anyway, so I took that back, which was my little adventure thing. But it's all completely fine now, and I love the unit. It's right up my alley. It's one of the sounds. It's the kind of sound that I've been I heard in my teenagehood or my childhood in the 80s. Really, it's really nailed some of that sort of early laser dance music that I used to really love. So it's got that edge. It's bright, but it's got that edge. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. But because of all the drama I had to go through to get a second unit replaced and had to drive out and all that kind of stuff, it's a bit farther away from me. I decided to reward myself by also buying something else.
Yay! Nothing like a reward. So that's the S1, isn't it?
That is indeed the
Nicely
S1.
done. Nicely done.
Yes.
So for those playing along at home, that's the SH101 digital mini Rolka. Rolka.
Volca. Yeah. It does have a bit. It definitely does have a bit of the Volca about it, but in a good way. It sounds really good though. It's really quite impressive. I've only been able to switch it on for about 30 minutes and play with it because I've been so busy doing other things. The effects really help it as well. So that's kind of that particular combination of an SH1 type sound. The
I'm going to come straight,
sound.
Chris. I'm going to come straight back to you, right? But because I thought it was a perfect segue when you mentioned the Pro 800, right?
Yes.
So I thought we would show. Is that not working? A black screen. We will show a black screen. No, I haven't got my desktop capture thing turned on. Come on. This is why you shouldn't set up a show 20 minutes before it starts, people.
I don't know what you mean.
Seg fault. There we go.
And that's why we had the pre-show.
All right, here we go. Bang. Ranzee.com. I pasted the link in chat. It's probably scrolled up a little bit, Brooksy, just above Brooksy's last comment, I think. Anyway, if you jump on there, literally the last link is, it won't be the last link because tomorrow it'll be the second to last link. Anyway, Behringer Pro 800, we have created, let's call it a web manual / history / experience page. And this is kind of a joint sort of job between Chris, myself, and JX3D. So big shout out to Henrik if he's in the show watching. Don't know if he is actually. Anyway, let's have a little squiz. You can actually check out some history about the Pro 800. Now, when I say history, the Pro 800 hasn't been around for anything more than about 2 years, technically, right? But it does have history because it's based on the sequential circuits Prophet 600, right? But it also uses the Glee mod as well, which has some history as well. So we talk a little bit about that. We also talk about when we first announced it on the Synth Geekery Show. There's links to all those episodes. It also shows what firmware updates it's had and what was in those firmware updates, just in case Behringer have a bad website. Sorry, Behringer. But, you know, hashtag truth. Anyway, then there's information that we've discussed about with the clone. We'll call it a clone because that's what it is. A clone with some future stuff in it, right? We've talked about what things are in that synthesizer. And this is from a user's perspective, not from a person who got free one for a review. This is from Chris, myself, and Henrik. We've all bought the thing, right? Chris has got his second already. There's a copy of JX3D's original simple guide in here. And we talked about this last week. If you actually look at these things, they are literally... you know, all written in 400 different languages, and every single time you want to go from one page to another, you have to skip like 30 pages to get to the second page of that particular language that you're looking at in. It's really frustrating to look at in those manuals. So he's done a simple guide. This is Henrik's work that you literally can get all the information that you need in, what was it, about 7 pages, including
Brilliant.
MIDI implementation.
You did a great job.
All right, so you can go check all of that out. It's free, and there's also a whole bunch of other stuff on there. So, and we'll keep updating that page as we discover things. And let me tell you, the Discord has been completely blown. Like, no one talks about anything else at the moment except us about our Pro 800s. So, people are probably lurking around Discord thinking, "Oh, I'm feeling left out."
They're probably thinking it's the Pro 800 Behringer support network, which is what I called it the other day.
Support is the word.
Yeah, it was quite a good joke, though. Yeah.
So you bought a Pro 800. Let me say, okay, commiserations or congratulations, whichever side of the bench you're on, etc., etc.
Which type of unit do you got?
We like. I'm not going to promise that we're going to do this for every single synth that we come across. But I just thought this was a great opportunity because we all got it at the same time. There was a bunch of us that got it at the same time, right? And that doesn't actually happen that often. I mean, I think Hydra Synth was probably a similar situation a few years back where that happened. And I thought at the time, geez, we should have done that. We should have written a blog article about it and kept updating it because that thing had a massive journey as well. So if you think about Hydra Synth and all the updates it's done from back when it first got released to now, it would have been an interesting read, for sure. So, anyway, we're going to do that with the Pro 800. I'm guessing there's going to be a heap more information in the next year or so about that synth. So, it's the top-selling synth at the moment.
There's already been 3 firmware updates.
Yep.
Just in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, they're taking it pretty seriously.
So I've got the latest 2 firmware update informations written on there because they didn't actually publish what was written on the original firmware, so they didn't actually say what was changed or anything like that. So basically, original firmware is technically what Glee would have been. So you have to kind of go to the link to Glee, and then you would see firmware 1.2.6. This is the changes. Firmware 1.2.7. These are the further changes. Now, that's really good because, you know, you can see this product is being listened to by Behringer. They're actually taking note of things that are going wrong. I've had an issue already, and I'm talking to the guys about it, and we're trying to replicate it. So none of these issues are like, don't buy it, none of those sort of problems. But this was just scrolling really quickly through program changes. It was, via MIDI, and it caused it to crash. So, those sort of things tend to happen. I've seen other synths do it too, so it's not a isolated thing. Anyway, Chris, were you finished with what you were saying? Did you want me to go back to you?
I'll just say I'm working on more GP82 firmware. This time I went on. I found a nice mode which will allow you to do ratchets and gate in the same step sequence. So you can have per step gate modulation and per step ratchet on or off, which I just only thought of just a couple of days ago, and I thought, that would be actually really, really useful. So another mode there. I've also started writing the dreaded white paper on randomization to try and get around it in my head exactly what I want to do for this randomization mode for the GP82. So I've been working on that during the week, and I don't think there's... Oh, yes, I am learning at work. I am learning JavaScript and HTML5, which will include WebMIDI.
Yep.
So that ties in with what you mentioned 2 weeks ago about it might be a good idea to get into that side of things. So I'm doing it through work because they want me to upskill anyway. So I'm just kind of piggybacking on their end. And if I happen to accidentally learn some MIDI and or audio related JavaScript stuff, great.
I'll
Chris,
get you in contact with
a randomize button for the randomize button.
Quick, find the random button. It's moved. It's in a random place. I'll put you in contact with a guy, another Aussie, that's really, really like a genius when it comes to MIDI. He's been on the show before. His name's Andrew. Another Andrew.
Andrew.
Big hello to Andrew if you're watching. He'd love to talk to you.
Yes, take his name, Chris. Take his name.
Yeah, I'll hit you up in Discord about it. All right, Chris. Now, while I think of it too, the randomization. I could have sworn we had a conversation about this in this channel a little while ago. We were talking about cybersecurity, and my son was doing like a unit at uni, and one of the projects was he had to do something about randomization of ciphers so that it would pick it was kind of not crackable basically, and I mentioned that I used an audio capture of a noise source as a random seed, and synth manufacturers tend to like noise sources for randomization. Sample and hold is a great example, right? So I'm not sure what you're doing and how you're doing it, but your chip may already have something like that on there.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
I'm sure you got it under control, but I just thought I'd put the segue back to a previous episode that we talked about because it was quite interesting.
I remember.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
Cool. Right, let's move on to Darren. Hey, mate. You look dark in there. Did you turn the lights out? Did you pay your bill?
We're having a storm. No, I can't afford it. In fact, actually, this couldn't have been so much thinking because I've actually bought something. I've gone out and I spent like this no tomorrow.
Stop the press.
Yeah, and it comes in handy because I bought
it's a light.
Yeah,
but it's not
Does it
working,
say
mate.
Roland?
Oh, it is. See, so.
Oh, okay. Now we can see you
working.
now. Stick it on your face.
Yeah, well, stick it on my face.
Yeah, so we can see you.
Yes.
No, that hurts, mate. That hurts.
That's awesome. Hey, there we can see you now.
It's
That helps.
it's a clamp one for the.
Cool.
So it's for the. It's
For
for
the
the
case.
live desk.
Is this an Amazon special or is this really a Roland one?
No, it's not a Roland one. It's just an Amazon special.
So, just to piss
That's
Brooksy
what
off,
you
you
mean,
should put a Roland sticker on it just to piss him off. Big thanks
but
to
other than that-
David in the chat, by the way. Just quickly, let me grab that before it disappears. Oh, it's at the top of the screen. Big thanks for the $4.99 for the Future B Repair Fund. Awesome, mate. Good on you. Sorry, Darren, keep going.
Hopefully he doesn't need it.
Other than that, I've not done anything because if you was on the channel last week, the Purple One sent me a demo for the tune that he wants to put on for his second album. So that was up last week on the channel, Bass in Your Purple Face. So yes, that's a demo. That was a demo tape that he sent me. I don't know why he sent it because he was in the same room. He just passed it in and said, "This is what I've been working on while he'd been at work." So that's to go on the album when it's completely finished.
See, Dave would
Other than that,
Dave would like to live here, I reckon, where I live. There's
why is it purple?
There's two football teams that are purple. There's an Australian
that'll
football
be fine.
team, and then there's the soccer/football team. They both use purple as their main colour. He'd be the biggest fan.
It'd be the main mascot.
He would.
Imagine
good
a
idea.
giant grave, Dave. Yeah, mascot
Yeah,
size.
and he'd come on to Bass in Your Purple Face as well.
Yeah. So the two teams are Perth Glory
that's-
and Fremantle, if you're wondering what they're called.
He'll check him out.
Definitely. That's awesome. So are we likely to hear this new shindig that he's put together?
Last week. Yeah, it was last week's video I put on Sunday.
Oh,
it's
okay.
actually
I
up.
apologise. I haven't had a look at your videos for a week or a bit.
Yeah, it's he put it up. It was just like say it's not a finished one, but it's a demo tape that he wants on the album because he said he wants 11 tracks this time, not 10. Just don't know because he likes everything to 11,
It has
doesn't
to
he?
go up to 11. Has to.
What is with the number of tracks with an
exactly.
album? I've got to 12 right now, and I'm thinking, oh, it's not enough. What is it like? Are we kind of? Does anyone know what the reason is?
Oh no, because my 21-21 album had was it 17 tracks? I think, or was it even 20? I can't remember now.
How many extras?
How many
Extras.
extra tracks?
Yeah, the ones you did for the buyers, the extra ones.
Oh, there wasn't any extra ones. You could use all
Minus.
3.
Let's have a quick
okay.
look at Rave Dave's. All right, let's have a quick look at that. Let's go. Here we go.
Let's go.
Who's ready? It's time to create the big bad bass in your face.
Don't let them laugh.
It's almost got a bit of a Gabba vibe to it. That one. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Love it.
You know what he likes? He likes his
Hectic.
He doesn't like.
Nice
you know
and
what he's like? His album. It's always got to be mental.
It's a good excuse to be mental, hey?
Yeah,
yeah.
I have to keep turning all the knobs down when he's like just ramming everything up to fall and trying to twist them off. It's gotta be louder, Darren. No, it's fine. Keep it down.
I found one of his knobs here. Like,
Oh my god.
Did you?
yeah. It came all the way
I've
across
got
to Australia.
I've got a
Look,
bucket
there it
full of
is.
them.
Hey.
Yeah,
See?
that's
That looks familiar.
Landed over here. So
that
he's
might have
got,
been the one that he pulled off on the filter sweep.
he's got to stop pulling his knob off. I'm telling you right now.
I've got one over here as well.
They just keep flying
Right
around.
here as well.
Told you.
All right,
He's a
we
mentalist.
going this way.
Oh, he's got his t-shirt on. All right, beautiful. Sorry, Darren. Was that all you were after? I can squeeze across to the next.
No, that's fine. That's
Beautiful.
That was my week basically.
Good man. Nice to hear it.
Awesome.
All right, who's on this random button here? Hey, Andy. Andy's behind the iron curtain.
I'm in the Black Lodge again. So, sorry, I'll start talking backwards shortly.
You've nick.
Exactly, yeah.
What
The little
it
dance.
is, Yep, what? Yep, what? Yep, what it
Devil's my brother.
Yeah.
So that's a Robin
Yeah, it's been
Williams.
kind of
That's a Robin Williams gag there. If anyone's seen them, what was it? Good Morning Vietnam. It's an old movie, isn't it? That one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite was Walter
Yeah,
Brennan.
that's an awesome
Walter
one.
Brennan? Walter Brennan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's been one of those weeks. This is the thing I was talking about last time. You guys might be interested. This Night Eyes IZE gear ties. They look like this for modular heads.
Did you buy the company?
Flexible. It's wire inside rubber, so you can wrap and set and forget, and they just stay there. Very durable.
Cool.
Package of, I think it was a package of, I forgot, 24, looks like, for about, I don't know, they're like, I don't know, 50 cents a piece or something like that. So, but they last a long time. They're different colors, so you can put all the black ones together, or all the orange ones together, whatever. And you can get ones that are all green if you want, the fluorescent yellow green. So if you're
Find
a
us a
wire
link.
head, I sent it in the last one, but I'll put it up again. It's in Amazon.
Yeah, because it was in the
I'll
wrong.
post it
It
up.
was in that wrong thing. I couldn't find it.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll post it again.
Yep.
So that's something good for you guys who like wires and don't want to have them in your face all the time.
Thank you.
What else? Yeah. Other than that, I was trying to be a good boy lately, since I'm still job hunting and trying not to spend too much money. But I couldn't resist getting the EOZ Play, because I checked out some of the demos and read more about it. And go, oh, this is a significant upgrade over the previous one. So it's definitely worth getting, from my point of view. So if it's still available, I think I only had like 50 left about a week ago, or something like that. If you guys still want to get one on the Dr. Yu Endo website, then check it out. It's
That rings a bell.
he'll probably put it on the full-on Sonicware site later, because he did sell enough, I think. But you never know. It's just, and the price also may go up. That was another thing I didn't want to wait for. But now we have to wait till November. So both Andrew Longhurst and I were crazy enough to buy one like at the same day. So
Synth Geekery 207. The link's in there if you want to find that.
is it okay? I'll put it again today. I'll find it and put it in. But other than that, that's about it. Just some other weird gadgets. I picked up one of these a little while ago, the Synth 9.
Oh, EHX. Nice.
Pretty cool.
So what are they doing? Is that
Yeah.
is that an upgrade to the previous synthy thing that they had? Or is that a new thing?
This is part of their line. There's a Mellotron one. There's a Synth one. There's like 3 or 4 of them in this line.
Organ. There's an
I can't remember
organ
the other
one.
ones right now. Oregon, that's it. Yeah, there's an Oregon one, and they track
There's
really
the
well.
B9.
This
And
is
probably
only
also
what I
Aki-
got this for
Aki
like
one.
I got this for like 130. So it's they're normally about $200, I think. So yeah.
What do you like about it?
Well, I do dabble in guitar, although not as much as I should, considering how many goddamn guitars I own.
And which ones?
But yeah, you can run a microphone through it. It's pitch tracking, right? So you can pitch to MIDI, so to speak, with it, or run a synth through it and get synth sounds you don't have off the pedal. So just pitch tracking. So
But it doesn't output
I
MIDI,
like
does
both.
it?
No.
No. It's just pitch. It's just pitch and audio. But just like you guys, if you guys have an MS-20 and you do the pitch tracking on that, it actually works quite well. It only works over about an octave and a half or 2 octaves. It doesn't really track that far out. But if you're doing like vocal stuff with it, how wide is your range anyway, right? So if you got a microphone plugged into it, you're going to be fine. If you're doing a full range guitar, then you're probably going to have tracking problems. And of course, there's the hack with the J80XI. If you take the microphone off, you can use that for pitch to MIDI as well. So
Okay.
lots of good pitch to MIDI tricks out there, and pitch to audio.
Mm.
So
Duly noted.
that's about it. Yeah.
Nice.
Just laying low,
Awesome.
pretty much.
Awesome, mate. Good on you.
Cool.
Alrighty,
Take it easy,
and
mate.
it's not never last, and it's not never least. But Eddie's joined the house.
Of course I am. Hey!
It's all blue and kind of
It's purple, in fact. It's just the
purple.
camera
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I'll have to turn mine purple now.
I should turn my purple thing on too while I'm at it. Behind me.
Purple.
My daughter will be happy. She goes for that purple team. How's your week been?
Sportsmate. Well, kind of a countdown. Seriously, it's not for any reason. It's just I'm in celebration mode. Tomorrow's happening, and I'm in split head, so I'm hitting a milestone, and I don't know if I really want to share it.
It's your birthday.
Apart from it is. God, somebody knows. Damn it. Yeah, it's the big one coming to the big 5. The half century. So, not happy about it, by the way.
You'll get over it. It didn't take me long to get
I
over it.
will, of
Someone's
course.
already been there.
Yeah.
And if
Congratulations,
I
mate.
don't, oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I plan to numb it down through cider tonight. So, yeah.
That's a damn good idea.
Drown it in alcohol, definitely. A good
Yeah.
plan.
But you know what? The thing that you
Oh,
should say to yourself is that you've lasted 50 years.
That's right.
That's a long
That's
You're
the
smart
word,
enough.
mate. That's very
if you know anything about cricket, right? Cricket, that's a half century.
That's right.
No, I don't know. Above from that display with the flat bat, that's all I know.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So they've
Cricket.
they've been out there on the pitch and they've hit the ball and they've made 50 runs. That's a long time, right? So in life, if you draw the link, you've been around 50 years. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, mate.
Remember the point where I'm not really proud of being this old, so
Give
you're
yourself a
making it
pat
worse,
on the
mate.
back. Give yourself a pat on the back. Come on.
No,
You've
I
done a
might
good
break it.
thing. You've done a good thing.
Cheers, mate. Thanks. Just so kind. I love you.
Trust me, we've been through it. We're experienced. We know how to feel.
And gear-wise, I bought something. I was told it would be here yesterday. It won't. They gave me 12 extra days, and I'm not confident about it getting here because it's also coming from the big B. So I think they're rushing a lot of stuff out.
Maybe.
Remember, I have my PP1 coming in.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, they give me a delivery of 15th. Now it's the 20-something, 22nd or 23rd. Yeah, I'll be happy if I get it in this month.
Yeah, never go by those things.
No.
I mean,
Hey, What was
Yeah,
yours,
no.
Chris? Yours was similar, wasn't it?
mine said it was not due till next month. And then
Then I went down to the shop and bought it.
and then you went down to the shop and picked one up, and I said, "Oh, apparently they're sending me one." And you said, "Yes, I know. I've got it here." The other one, and that was only like
Yeah,
2
but that's
days
because you're
after.
closer.
Yeah, but
That's because
but
you're
that's-
closer,
yeah,
mates.
But the thing is, Henrik got his 2 days before that.
Yep.
So it seemed as if they were synchronizing the deliveries across
Yeah.
countries. So I think there's a bit of
That'd be
logistics
hard.
and organisation.
That
I
would
know.
be hard.
Mate,
From China.
yeah. So
Imagine that.
I
I
don't
mean,
know
getting getting into some European countries too would be difficult. Yeah, you'll get it soon, mate. Don't worry. You've got other things to play with.
I know.
Hey, by the way, really appreciate all your efforts that you did on that synthesized.
synthesize.
That was really good, mate.
I'm really sorry. I didn't have any tech at all, just a phone and a lot of will to share. That was it.
I think it was okay. You know, we don't expect you to have a
Well,
gimbal
the-
and
the microphone. It was my
that stuff.
headphones. That wasn't that one. Thank you. I did my best.
yeah, we appreciated it. It was really good. And I was actually really surprised that vMix link stayed open, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or the StreamYard.
Because I
StreamYard.
was drinking from the site's Wi-Fi, not my
Right.
own.
Right.
Win-win. Thanks
Free
to
Wi-Fi.
Mr. Tony Jewell for allowing that.
Yeah, he's a good man. It was nice to meet him too
He's the
as well.
best.
Yeah. And
Oh, yeah.
out of that popped a really amazing meme, which we put on the show last week. So that was worth everything
Which one?
just to have that meme. Robbie's meme, where he was
Robbie.
Okay.
looking at the bells on the DX1.
Yeah, but
Refer
yeah,
to previous
I mean,
show.
Truth to be said, after that photo was taken, the poor guy didn't stop a second. He was basically ramped over everybody coming to commission. Everybody had to stop in his department. Obviously, the one,
He loves it.
but also the
He loves it.
DX81 something. I can never remember that one. And the DX7, obviously.
Oh yeah. I know
And
what
obviously
you're talking about,
he was the most knowledgeable person in the room, to the point that I think I even shared some wrong facts. So I'm happy to retract them. Somebody points at me and makes me accountable for
Have
them.
you ever watched my show? Wrong Fact Central.
Alternative facts.
My apologies.
yeah. Don't
I got
trust
close.
us.
I got really close. I got
You need a new
close,
segment. You need a segment at the beginning of every show, Rance. We say, here's everything I need to correct from last week's show.
Yeah, errata. Hashtag facts.
but- yeah.
Anyway, yeah, good point by the chatties there. They made a presidency of that, says JB page 2. That's a good one. Nice. Good timing. Okay, we've got through everyone. Actually, let's stay on the chatties. Let's say hello to them. Like, we can take a little bit more time this week. We're not rushing through like we were last week because we had a gazillion topics to get through. So big hello to Cresshead, Dr. Synth, which is Manny, Half God, Half Beast, and Prometheus UK, and as I said before, JP page 2. Also big hello to Kent Spong, who's one of our channel members and an awesome guy. And
Take it.
hopefully the car, was it a Mustang? I think it was the Mustang, wasn't it?
Yes.
Hopefully that survived. We didn't hear the end of that. I actually hadn't had a chance to catch up with him. Steve Elbows is there. Matt Brown. Who else? Lady Aptitude. And big hello to everyone there. Wagoo's in the room, holding up the fort. What else we got? Asdi Boss. No, sorry, I can't read today. I'm completely shocked. Asdi Boss Atlantis. Big hello to you. I could have sworn you had a different username. I reckon it's the same person. Failed Muso, which is Robbie Puricelli. Yes, we were talking about you before. Were your ears burning? QRDNK. Brooksy's there. I think he's left, but if you're still there, mate, big hello to you, and hope everything goes well today. And also to Ian as well. And Synchrotron. There's an extra R in there. Synchrotron. I'm the best reader. Have you worked it out? And actually did pretty good at English when I was a kid. Don't know what happened. Maybe I've lost a few brain cells as I've got older. Hint, hint. All right. David's there. Big hello to David, one of our channel members as well. And I shall...
Hey, David.
I should let that scroll past because I'm sure there's other people. Kosh, Dukai, who else sort of snuck in a little mention? Yeah, I think we've got everyone. Just about anyway. If I've missed you, bad luck. You weren't worthy. No, just sing out in the chat and say hello. If anyone's lurking, jump into chat and say hi. We're all pretty happy, sort of friendly people. So there's someone from just about anywhere in the world in here. Trust me. It happens every week. We get people from all sorts of countries, and they say, I'm from Botswana. And you go, wow, Botswana. Don't think we've had someone from Botswana before. Yeah. So there you go. Max lurking. Of course you're lurking, Stephen. Lurker, you. Big hello to you, mate.
Also,
right.
I put that cable ties link in the chat, so it's here too as well if you guys want to see it.
Yep. It's a little bit further back. Where is it still on the screen? It's scrolled past now. So
It was on when you were showing the chat. So yeah.
Amazon link. Yeah, we won't do them. Amazon make enough money, don't you reckon? Don't you reckon Jeffrey Bezos is rich enough? He's pretty rich.
Making his phallic rockets. Yeah.
He's phallic rockets. The ones that penetrate the earth again after they go up. Yes. And on that weird note, we should do Funny Side. And I have collected these memes from everyone else this week because I've been too lazy to do it myself. This one from Henrik, JX3D. Thanks, mate, for that one. So, yeah. Burn. Don't go dating.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yep. And also this one, your grandparents used to invest in real estate, and you invest in Apple Vision Pro.
Oh, God.
That was a winner, that one, wasn't it? Hey?
God.
I think someone meant to put synthesizers there, but they were a bit scared. They were put Moog synthesizers there or something.
We're never gonna hear the end of that one, are we?
We're not. It's never going to end. Trust me. That started in the 1960s. And still going. But you can also join the dark side and get yourself into Eurorack.
I like that.
Yeah. Love it.
They should have patched cables to his chest for that.
They should have, because he's got like, what is it? Make
exactly.
noise maths in the middle of his chest there. He's got a voice changer. And hey, just to keep up.
I love this one.
Yes, bit of mastering and mixing here. Record, mix, mastering, and home recording. I am on the bottom, everyone. If anyone's ever listened to any of my albums, you'll understand why.
No, you're not, mate. Sorry. Don't agree.
Really good.
No, you're not.
She does all my mixing. What are you talking about, Eddie?
I love even the albums I bought. I love them. They sound really good.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm surprised because I spent 13 years in the Air Force listening to F-18 Hornets, and you know how loud those bastards can be. I'm surprised my ears even work. Anyway.
All right, I get it.
Actually, I think it's a good point. I talked to other guys in the military, especially older guys in World War II. They didn't never let them wear earplugs, even if you wanted to, right? You weren't allowed to.
We had the big orange. I mean, we're talking about the 1980s and 90s here. We had the big orange, full enclosed, flight.
3Ms?
Yeah.
That cuts like 20 decibels or something, right?
You can still hear everything. You can still hear your boss scream at you through those things. That's how bad they were.
Because you got these poor guys standing next to like 6-inch guns on battleships, and they're like, "Whatever, I just got to stand here."
Yeah.
And they're all deaf, you know.
And it's not just hearing. There's guys walking right in front of the nose cone of an F-18, which has got a forward-looking infrared radar, and they literally wonder why all their children were female.
Okay.
And had 3 heads. No,
Yeah, I was waiting for the 3 eyes or something.
There's that one guy who survived both Nagasaki and Hiroshima blasts, and he had valid offspring, and he lived to about 90. So
that was a
your DNA
great
doesn't
story.
get
That was a great story.
Yeah.
That's all about
That's the guy that he left Hiroshima, didn't he? He left. And he drove down the road, which is an hour away or something, wasn't it? Nagasaki's like an hour away.
And he was walking toward Nagasaki's base or something like that.
Yeah.
And that one went off.
And
Knocked
that went
him over.
off. It's like, what?
It's like, holy smokes.
What are the chances that you get hit by 2 nukes? Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, and he did. He lived to 90.
Call him
That's a
lucky.
great story.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Sorry, we've completely digressed.
No,
What was your favourite meme of the week, everybody?
Remind me, please.
432.
Reminding. Here we go. We can remind.
Yeah.
We had the fantastic recording person.
That's the closest to truth, yeah.
Yeah. We had the dark side. We had the grandparents. And we had
That's
what you should probably do when you go dating, guys. Yeah.
Yep, that's me. That's mine. I get for the 432.
Yeah. Keep talking, boys. What do you want?
The struggle is with me.
432's in the chat. Darth Vader? Ooh, home recordings,
Yes.
got it?
My heart
Those
says
new
Darth
age whackers
Vader,
out there.
but the reality is the 440 hertz.
432.
It's a
Yeah,
healing
yeah, sorry.
frequency. It's good for you.
Hey, where's Dazza? We should get Dazza on the show. He was really big on 432.
I mean,
It's just the frequency.
okay.
It's just the
Let's
frequency.
let's all attack the newcomer. I do believe different tunings could change our reaction to the music, could invoke a different slight mood. And it's probably just because it's different. It's
Yeah,
like
like a microtone. Yeah.
a shock factor.
Well, Darren,
Yeah,
you know
like
this. There's a note. There's a note you can play. I think it's like an A, like a lower A, right? And it's literally the best bass note for a club. It will make all the glasses tingle and shake, and it's like I think it's either a an A flat or an A, but it's like down there somewhere, and it's like it's perfect. Somehow buildings and nightclubs and all have that sort of frequency response, right? So yeah, the brown note.
The mythical
That's it,
brown
yes.
was like 7 hertz. Yeah.
He's on fire today,
Got
Mr.
7
Page too.
Yeah.
I thought
one.
Mythbusters busted that one about the brown note. So I was trying to finish, but I don't believe that there's a specific frequency that is meant to harmonize the whole universe. Sorry, there's too many of them. No, I
Didn't
don't
they
build
play that in
I
the
don't
Twilight
build
Zone?
that. They did.
You just didn't smoke the right stuff, that's all.
Actually,
I
close
don't know.
encounters.
You're not
of the
going to
third
get a
kind.
serious answer out of me today. Sorry.
Oh, please don't. I'm not trying to make serious. I'm just trying to focus the hate on me. Come on, bring it on.
Focus the hate on yourself. You're about to turn 50 and you want hate.
Because it's your birthday.
It's 0
Yeah.
hertz. Half chord, half piece. 0 hertz is the frequency. That is brilliant.
That's very
It
good.
is.
It does hurt.
I teach kids. Well, not teach kids. I coach kids to play football, right? And there's some boys that just don't try. They're after 0 hertz in a game. Let me tell you.
Well,
Boom,
put it this
boom.
way, elephants communicate over long distances with infrasound, like around 15 hertz or
Yep.
lower. And if that were true, they'd be crapping all over the place. So
Well, it's not like they're focusing when they do that and where they do it, is there?
exactly.
Because when you
But if you're right next to
go
them,
a circle,
you know.
Go out
Do
on a boat.
African elephants have a different frequency to,
Indian elephants.
It's like, no,
they're not woke,
no,
mate. They're not woke.
It's the war of the elephants, No, we want 40 hertz.
That's right.
They
No,
make-
we want 4 hertz.
They make trunk calls to each other. No, if you go out on a boat and
different
you
truck
literally
line.
start playing around with frequency, if whales start following you, then you know you're onto something. That's kind of
Yeah.
what you...
That's the right one.
Anyway, that tends to be what happens here in the studio when I'm trying to find a sound for my next album. No, that's not it. There's whales outside. What?
As long as your dog doesn't complain, it's all good.
There's like 500 dogs out the window. They're all like...
Feed us.
See, that doesn't happen in Darren's studio because all the notes are down the bottom somewhere. Like
Bottom, yeah. Yeah. Plus, and
wife's coming up the stairs going, "Stop it!"
Jesus, the house is coming down.
You're gonna reseat all your cables. Just
Look, we can have some fun today because we've got hardly any news. Why don't we look at the news? Let's look at it. Let's see what it comes up with on the random news selector this week. It's a bit like play school. Nautilus AT. Pick a window. No, Korg have been releasing stuff. Here it is. It's the Nautilus AT. I actually don't know anything about this. I mean, obviously it's a workstation, and obviously it's big, it's chunky, and it's expensive. It's probably, honestly, it probably is going to make someone very happy. This little black duck not included. But you're looking at around about 2,400 euros. Don't know how many pounds that is. Someone else can work that out. And US dollars is probably about the same.
Ouch.
That's a lot of modular bars, and that's just for the 66 key jobber. It's also an 88 key job, which is more expensive. But hey, don't listen to me. Let's listen to Korg, because they'll tell you all about it.
2 new additions to the Nautilus lineup, the Nautilus 61 AT and Nautilus 88 AT. For those of you who may not be familiar with Aftertouch and what it does, when pressure is applied to the keyboard after the key has been struck and while you are holding the key down, that is Aftertouch.
Hashtag
You
school.
can use Aftertouch to control things like vibrato, volume, and many other assignable parameters within the keyboard. Now, to help us demonstrate, we've asked our good friend Jordan Rudis to come down and check out.
Oh, of course.
Hey.
I hadn't seen this.
Having a beard is a requisite for being able to use Aftertouch.
Don't chop it off.
And shredding in 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, his body expression helps a lot too. You can see.
Aftertouch is a type
Thanks,
of
Jordan.
expression on a keyboard that is very important for certain styles and certain kind of gestures in my music making. I think about it in terms like orchestral things where you can do amazing swells, or vibrato where you can press into a note and have vibrato without having to lift up your hand and use a physical controller. So it's another really helpful way to kind of express oneself on the keyboard itself without having to go elsewhere.
Kent.
If you already own a Nautilus and are interested in getting the Aftertouch functionality, an upgrade kit will be available for the 61 and 88 key versions. Please contact your local Korg distributor for more information.
What?
There you
For
go.
more information on the Nautilus AT, be sure to check.
We're not going to be checking any more of that video out. But if you never knew about Aftertouch, wow, haven't you just got a massive lesson?
Exactly.
But tell us about your synth. Hello.
Oh, man.
That's the problem.
Wasn't I nice to share that?
This is hilarious for so many reasons.
They think they need to explain it. They still don't get that people want it. They still think it's something that people need to have explained to them.
No, but they got Jordan to explain it, and he knows.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know what Aftertouch is. Bye. And walks out of the studio, right? It's crazy.
It's so crazy because they're charging you a premium for Aftertouch, which is like, hey, at least they have it compared to Yamaha's Mo DX. It has no Aftertouch in the whole line. So Yamaha could learn something from this video, I think. But yeah, they're charging you a premium for something that should be there from the last 30 years or whatever. And it's Aftertouch, like it's a brand new, this Aftertouch thing. There's no poly, there's no MPE, there's like, where the hell these guys been? It's like, this is a cool thing called Aftertouch.
It's a new division in Korg that haven't talked to the other divisions.
There's actually
It's
the
so
headquarters
silly.
is actually in a cave. That's where they've been.
I think so, yeah. They
This
live
is
under
comical.
a rock. Yeah, it's just...
It is comical, isn't it? It really is. I mean, the synth, there's so many things they could be talking about this synth. Okay, maybe it has some new stuff in it. Hello, maybe you should talk about that. I mean, are we fools? Do we come across as fools to you, Korg? Honestly, us synthesizer people, do we not know what Aftertouch is? I mean, maybe like a 13-year-old kid, not even a 13-year-old kid, probably they will know as well. Someone might not know. You've probably hit the nail on the head with someone out there. Please write to me personally if you've actually been learned by this video. Other than that, most of us are like probably feeling a little bit bemiffed.
And when Measly Keystep, it's just over $100, has Aftertouch. I mean, there's no excuse for overcharging people for Aftertouch. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's what one of them did. Maybe they went in and went, hey, I've been playing this keyboard and I just pressed a little bit too hard and it did something. Maybe we should put it on our big ones.
Who put this touch strip underneath the keyboard? Oh, I'll pull it out. No, bring it back. It's good. We've discovered
It does something.
What happens after the touch?
Yeah. That's a whole other issue, yeah.
Korg's just found out. They're telling the world about it.
They got politicians involved.
Yeah,
in
but
that,
it's
so-
worse because didn't they even say that you can get a kit for the ones that haven't got Aftertouch? to do. It's like, what?
I think only one of them was upgradable, though, right? The other one wasn't. The small one wasn't upgradable.
No. They said both releases, both 61 and 88, could be upgraded from a previous call your Korg dealer. Like in what?
Right.
Are you talking firmware?
Yeah. Please tell us what the hell you want.
The ones you don't charge extra already have the sensor.
It's already there. They just have a license key to punch in, and you get it.
Look, let's
So you
get
go in and go,
let's
"Do you
get
want
to
the-
some
do you want the
seriousness.
pressure key thing extra. Yeah, go
I
on.
will tell the world, Korg, I'll do your job for you, and I don't even expect you to leave the money on the fridge. It has 9 specialized sound engines for different sound categories. It has a modern operating concept with mode and quick access buttons. It has real-time controls, which are retractable for editing sounds. It has a polyphonic arpeggiator, drum track, and step sequencer with 4 scenes each. I've just got to 4 points, and all of those things sound interesting to us synthesizer people, not a real lesson about aftertouch. I can keep going. Set list modes for people who do perfect live performances, search and preview functions for sounds and combinations, which is really cool on a synth because I hate looking for patches. 3-band EQ for each individual tracks, MIDI and audio, smooth sound transitions. Don't forget this is a workstation, so it's got things like, audio recording and stuff like that. This is what they're talking about here. Smooth sound transitions, which prevents dropouts when changing sounds. That's important for most live people. Dynamic controls for expressive sound settings. So that was where we're talking about the mod wheel and the aftertouch. So they've got new stuff in there. A sampling function, which we know it does already because it's on the previous models. You can do 16-track audio recording at 24-bit at 48K. That's not bad. Probably could have been 96.
At all.
16 effects processors, 2 master effect loops, 2 total effects, USB-A for MIDI controller connection, USB Type B for connecting to your PC. It and also has free software bundled in with it as well. And if this really makes any sense to anyone, it's made in Japan. There you go. So that's a bit more information that Korg could have probably shared with us.
Yes.
All
So are we
virtues.
going to focus on the positive, or can we keep on being mean about it?
You can be mean. Go for it. Give him a roasting.
So-
Ian will love you. Trust me. He will love this just as much. Ian.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
With all due respect, it's not about you. It's about them. First point. From all that really impressive list, what is added from the non-aftertouch models? Full stop.
Aftertouch.
Moving on.
Well,
That's it. On top of what is actually under the hood. Good. Second, and this is just me because I'm this moron. That is the most beautiful screen I've seen in a synthesizer in years. How expensive is that?
So I can answer your question for Korg because I didn't answer it in the video.
Sure.
The only difference between this Nautilus and the previous Nautilus models are that they've upgraded the sounds to incorporate the aftertouch mechanism.
So the patches.
So the patches.
Not even the PCMs, just the patches.
The synth engine remains the same. Everything else about the synth and the workstation remains the same.
And for my own education, isn't this one just a downsized version of the Kronos? The Nautilus is kind of a Kronos.
The Kronos,
but less.
yeah, but they just continued the Kronos, didn't they? So
Did they?
I believe so, yeah.
So is this replacing the Kronos, is it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the
2022.
previous Nautilus was decent. Woody Piano Shack had some good videos on it, so it's a decent sounding thing. So
Which one?
the previous Nautilus, before they had the aftertouch,
Okay.
Woody Piano Shack did some great videos on it.
It's a good synth if you're into that
Yeah.
sort
No,
of
I mean-
workstation stuff.
That's no argument about that. Plus, if it's now the one substituting the Kronos, meaning this becomes their flagship, it has to be. And Korg is very good at delivering very good flagships.
Well,
So
I don't know. See, they're obviously wanting to sell the Nautilus, right? So they discontinued
Yes.
the Kronos last year, 2022.
okay.
And I mean, that was around for 11 years, that synth. So it had a pretty good span. Then
Yep.
I always thought the Nautilus was never as good as the Kronos in terms of what it was offering, but I could be wrong, right? Someone might want to correct me. But I always felt there was a little door open for a new flagship workstation to come out to replace the Kronos. Maybe it's going to be Kronos something, Kronos 2, whatever. But that's the kind of theory I got in my head. But the reason why there's no Kronos on the market is because they want to move Nautilus product. And that year and a bit, whatever it is, gap is going to give them some sales while they've got nothing else in that top range offering. For me, that kind of makes sense as a business, right? But I still think there's going to be something new from Korg. Because you think about it, what have they been doing lately? They've been doing OP6, Wave State, they've been doing the Mod Wave, all that sort of cool stuff, right? They could literally pull all of those firmwares into and the Kronos and the Nautilus, and they could put all that in to one gargantuan behemoth workstation synth that will compete with Yamaha's, top of the range.
The next M1.
Yeah, M3 was their last big M1, right? So
I don't mean the name.
M5,
I mean, a milestone in their history, as good as the M1.
But the M1 and the M3 were never their flagship at the time when they came out either. They had something else. So so yeah.
I know that.
So that could be. This is what I'm saying. They could be playing with all this at the moment. Who knows? Someone who works for Korg will probably be like, "Shut up, Ranz! You're giving away our secrets." I don't know. No one's told me anything. I'm just guessing. So, but I mean, it's just common sense, right? It's common sense from a business point of view.
Yeah, but it's goofy. It's just goofy that we just released a new line, which is just aftertouch.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's move some more product. Yeah,
exactly.
We've got 400,000 Kronos.
Keys,
Nautilus is sitting in the shelf. Let's pull them apart, put an aftertouch strip in, change the firmware, and pull them out and sell them again.
But sorry, because you just mentioned that, it just hit me. The ones they're doing that, so I'm agreeing with you, are theoretically the ones that would sell less, which is the most expensive, the 88 weighted, and the 61, which is too short. So the medium ground is the 71. So they don't do that one because that's already selling pretty good.
Yeah, they do have the nicer keys on them too. Probably right. I mean, it makes sense, right? What did you say? Sorry, Darren, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, sorry.
I just said, and the next model up will be AT with black keys.
Oh, you're going to get a phone call from them and get a job there.
Or use the alternate red keys they used in the one, the monologue or mini log thing.
yeah. Or it's going to be see-through, like the micro Korg.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then I have to buy it.
Kent said something funny about not being repairable. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I guess they're a nightmare to work on.
Yeah, you don't see them. What was that synth that guy was running over in his car to prove it was strong? Forget, that was a few years back now, wasn't it?
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, it was really funny. Like someone was like saying, "Look how strong my synth is, and I can run over it with my car." And like, here, it hasn't been damaged. And I'm like, try and do that with a Korg Nautilus. See how it survives.
Or a Modi X.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's all plastic. Well, Roland stuff would be the same, wouldn't it? All right,
yeah,
let's go.
Just an aside, Reds. Yeah. Could you put up that picture again of the Nautilus that you had at the beginning, just for a moment? Mm-hmm. Is anyone else just seeing their order for McDonald's on that screen? Because it just looks like I'd say, oh wow, I can order my Maccas from this thing. This is awesome.
It's probably got internet in it. You know the they do put PCs in a lot of these workstations, right? And you just they take a lot of, like the M3 was a computer basically with a few other extra boards in it,
like some kind of Linux in there or something. Yeah.
So then I wouldn't be surprised if you could probably order another Nautilus from it. Another one at full price because we don't care.
Your Nautilus has died. We are ordering a new replacement.
Yeah, famous last words. Careful with that. That's coming.
Did you guys, in your countries during the COVID stuff, did you guys have like really bad waiting lists to buy motor cars, or is that just in Australia that happened? Did you have insane like Toyota had like something like 24-month waiting lists? It was insane.
Yeah.
You had that over there.
Yeah, computers.
Yeah, and obviously graphics cards and stuff like that as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was untouchable. Yeah, and then that news because of the chip shortage about car manufacturers buying, I think it was dishwashers or washing machines just to junk the chips off and put them in the cars.
Wow. No wonder the price of cars went up. They've got dishwashers in them now, people.
So you wouldn't want your car to go into dishwasher mode when you're in the car wash, would you?
Self-cleaning.
you're the dish inside, and it's like
What, fast spin?
Reverse of the sprinklers inside and stuff.
There's a message that comes up on the dash that says,
to a barbecue,
you failed to put a tablet in me.
Yeah, man, that would be brilliant.
All right, come on, let's get to the next one. We don't have much news. The next one is this little baby here, which is the new Xils-labs Elmira. This is number 2, Elmira 2. I don't know much about this either. I'm kind of like being very lazy this week and not researching stuff, so I do apologize. But there's no video, but I can tell you it's a successor, obviously, to the Elmira, which is a DIY project. It is a drone synthesizer, by the way, and you're probably wondering, what are those little things hanging down the bottom there? So I'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, so what is it? It's it's a drone synthesizer, right? So your whole point of this thing is that you are creating droney sort of synth sounds and, let them, set and forget and slowly modulate through while you go and do other stuff. It is a wavetable-based oscillator structure. It has 12 1-volt controllable oscillator forms. 1 voice controllable oscillator forms. I'm going to say 1 volt. In the sound generation part, each voice can be adjusted with dedicated tune control, and it features a chromatic mode, which has a microtonal scale support as well. And per voice mangling, it has 9 per voice modulation effects, unison, detune, dual sub oscillators, saturation, bit mangling, sample rate reduction, noise and high pass and low pass filters. And then you got switchable analog resonant filter as well with, I would say it's pretty cool, 2-pole sort of variable filter, low pass, high pass, band pass, and a creamy 4-pole. I don't know if I agree with that word creamy. Because it may not be the best word. Anyway, low pass ladder filter. Yeah. Blowing chunks or blowing cream? You're blowing something. Then it has a crazy clockable delay with an unhealthy amount of feedback. I like that. That was cool. Good marketing term, that. An unhealthy amount of feedback. Crunchy to lo-fi reverb and an analog ouch circuit. You guys see that on the sort of like the top there? It's an analog ouch circuit. Yeah. So what is that? I don't know, is the answer. It has 4 128-step sequences per voice, dual attenuators, buffered, and all that sort of stuff's in there as well. Like I said, it is DIY. It is a very interesting project if you wanted to get yourself stuck into it. Now, what are those little things was the question I asked.
It's like a Lyra 8? Are they the contact points?
Yeah. Yep. So, I think I've just lost the page that I was reading, which said what it was. I'll get back to that. Hidden inside touchpads. Okay, so it's got a Steiner Parker filter in it, which is probably why it's got that sort of craziness about it. Because, anyone who's owned an Arturia mini brood or micro brood or anything that's got a Steiner Parker filter in it will know that it's a kind of a crunchy. It is a bit of a crunchy sounding filter, isn't it? It's not creamy like they use their words for like a standard sort of ladder filter, right?
Is that what the ouch section was on there? With the ouch, then it says ouch on it.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah.
So where you get shocked? Is it that?
Well, it says choke and bite, right? So that has to be something to
Choke
do
and bite,
with that has to be something to do with the filter, doesn't it? A choke and a bite. You think a choke is kind of like choking sound, so it's kind of filtering
Overdrive?
it. And a bite would be an overdrive, I would say too. Yeah, definitely. That would, or a bit rate or something maybe. Anyway, it'd be nice to know. Anyone in chat know what it is? Let's have a quick look. Chatties are saying. Did someone say Lyra 8? Absolutely. Yeah.
120 volts.
You can make your own, and it's called the Xils-labs Elmira 2. Absolutely. How much was this thing? It was between 550 and 600 euros. It's going to be available in 5 days, from 5 days' time, and you can get it from Xils-labs, which is neutral-labs.com. Actually, I'll give you guys the link. There you go. Go check it out. Give them a plug straight away in the chat. Look at that. It'll pop up. There you go. Look at that. There's the link. Isn't that sexy? That's it for me. I mean, I kind of looked at the news this week and I thought, some deal, some bit of software, some new software. And I'm like, nah, yawn. There was a bit of Eurorack stuff coming out. But
the Aftertouch just did it for you.
The Aftertouch, I just thought was so funny. It was really funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, you can't beat that. It's probably clever marketing.
I mean, yeah, we have to recognize that yes, there's a lot of new kids in the blog coming to synths and coming to keyboards and wanting to add synths and synth textures, or just to produce their own music by buying one thing plus the laptop they already have to do their homework.
Yeah,
but if obviously for us, which are one extra day in this race, is like, oh really? So,
yeah.
And obviously never underestimate the fact of the new generation, because that's their future customers. That's their the customer base. They need to entice them and tell them, hey, look, what all you can do, even Aftertouch, with to you is totally new. But...
True, but unless they're spoiled brats, they're not going to get a workstation, so...
All right.
It's pretty expensive.
Well, if you look at if you think about us when we were kids, right? We were probably watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off and going, "How cool is this kid with the synthesizer in his bedroom?" And we had no idea how expensive that synthesizer was, right? So
we all wanted one.
I don't know. Kids have got it easier, I think, these days.
Yeah, but answering to
that, a lot of kids are seeing MPE now. So if Aftertouch was a thing, then yeah, but. I mean, that's like gone. It's MPEs, multi.
Yeah, the Rolly Seaboards and the Osmos and yeah,
that's what they're all seeing. So they'll be looking at,
and they'd know about that.
The kids would understand. Back in my day, the D50, you had to press really hard to get Aftertouch.
Oh, it's not just it's a Roland thing. I swear to God, my XP30 had the same problem. This Roland A500 Pro MIDI controller has the same problem. It's a Roland problem. That's what it is. They just probably copied the engineering. That's probably what they did from the D50. Someone is laughing about it somewhere in Japan, going, "Ha ha! Make them press hard. Suck your."
Puny westerns. So 2 subjects. First, because I'm not aware of it. Is there any film like we had, like you just said, Ferris Bueller or Fame, or any film coming out that is actually showcasing music tech to the new generations? Because everything I've seen lately is just, it's using a Macintosh. That's it. That's how you do. That's how you do your gold, platinum records. Get a Macintosh.
I don't know about so I don't really sort of go out there and watch movies in the theaters, especially during COVID, because it was like movies were shut down for years. Anyway, but I think Stranger Things definitely got the synthesizer back on the map with the younger generation. But they didn't show synths, right? But I definitely think that went a long way. So that's the first thing that comes to my mind. What about you guys? What do you guys think? It's a good question.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything on Netflix.
Good. So that's my point. The new generations know about synths, but they don't see the machines. They don't know what to lust about or what to desire or what to And suddenly they get on their feet on YouTube, Korg saying, "Oh, look, with these ones you can do this," and even has aftertouch that you can be extra like it's all new to them. And that's, I think, what Korg is aiming this product to, is that for the new next generation, because they know that we are way over aftertouch. Some of us even way over polyphonic aftertouch. We're very deep into MPE, which for a completely newcomer like myself, it's still hard to wrap your head around it, because it's not like on a guitar. If I teach you how to make a string band, you can see me do something. On a keyboard, you don't see anything being pressed. You see hands on keys like usual, but something, a new sound comes out.
I would love to see, I would love to see someone in a movie doing a filter mouth on an analog synth. Like, you know, that's never happened, right? That would just, I'd just like, yes, one for the boys, you know. But if you look at something like the Disney Channel, like I'm talking about streaming, the streaming thing, right? Not the Disney Channel that's on you, whatever. They've got a lot of musical type shows on, you know, movies and series and things like that. And if you look at the products that they place in a lot of those things, they're usually your sort of mainstream workstation / arranger type synths, you know. So you see the Yamahas and the Rolands, you know, the Phantoms or the Montage, or, you know, something like that. That's what you usually see.
Yeah.
So
one of the most egregious examples was go ahead.
No, please. Sorry.
I was going to say, because there's a movie with Eric Stoltz from the late 80s with Janet Jones, who became Wayne Gretzky's wife. She's like a dancer, actress, whatever. And the whole movie is about her going to gymnastics competitions or whatever. And Eric Stoltz is this nerdy kid in his room in a wheelchair playing a rack of Korg synths. And Korg is in huge letters a good portion of the movie as he's doing these little fake jams for her music for the thing. So that was a huge Korg ad, that movie. With all kinds of synthesizers. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
You already said that was years ago, right?
In the late 80s, early 90s, something like that.
I do remember that, yeah.
What does the tens or the naughty generations have regarding that? They don't see them. They don't actually make the link. Like me,
Not so much. Yeah.
Remember last time I came, I told the story about Fame and the 2600.
Yeah. Love that. That's great. Yeah.
Obviously, it took me a little while because I have to ditch the DVD because I could not find for free the film anywhere. And it crushed my heart because I watch again the whole scene, and you see him getting the Mini Moog, the 26, and something else that is not really placed, starts playing synths, and suddenly he plays a Rumpler. It's just a fantastically huge
or a MIDI controller
orchestra recording that would never have been possible, not even 10 years later than that film. And I went like, oh crap, I've been wishing and hoping about getting those sounds because they sounded awesome. Of course they sounded awesome. It's a human orchestra sound in there.
Movies,
crashed my heart.
Movies are full of that, though, aren't they? They're always showing. If you know anything about music tech, and they're obviously, you know, they show someone using something, and you go, "That's not a recording of what he was doing. That's the composer having done a score, and then the director saying, "Oh no, they won't tell the difference."
Even sound effects. There are movies around the world with nature scenes with the red-tailed hawk sound screeching, and they're in all different countries. It's the same damn screech in every movie. It's like that bird doesn't even live there. So
well, this I keep on hearing because when I was doing film and television work, we used to have this CD, which was sort of like the everyone had this CD. It was called Sound Ideas, and it was you remember that one? Yeah, and every so often I hear something off that CD on some random program. It's like recent, and I go, oh. I know that sound. I think it was the one they used recently was the there was an arcade machine recording, which was just a recording of all the an arcade machine. It was like a Galaxian, I think it was what it was a recording of, which of course is a really distinct sound to us because we grew up and we know that those analogy type sounds. But of course, they show up in something where someone's playing a really, really modern game, and I'm just going, oh.
Yeah, it's probably on some BitTorrent site. That's where you get it from, and all the movie people are like, "Oh, just download that."
Every time they show a computer lab or some forensics thing in a show, like even like the high tech shows, and there's like a Macintosh floppy drive spinning in the background. I'm like, that's super old. There's no floppy drive in sight, you know.
Wait, I got one better.
There's a Facebook group that I sort of linger around because I'm into Commodore 64s because I used to play with them when I was a kid. And it just seems to be this thing where they all rage at people when they show, oh, look, I saw a Commodore 64 in John Wick. and like, there's been about 50,000 people that have posted the same photo of a screenshot of that scene in that movie since John Wick first came out. And it's like, everyone's like, oh, ban him from the group, quick.
I got one better. Okay. Who is familiar with the show Picard?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Right? Sadly, I cannot tell a season and episode. I think it's second season. At one point, somebody launches a bunch of drones. I love it. Let's not get into that now, right? Somebody launches a bunch of drones that had targeted to do a lot of havoc and mayhem, right?
Yep.
The thing controlling the drones was a Korg nano control.
That's cool. I've seen heaps of stuff like that.
Like it because it was this big. They blocked just the part where it says Korg nano control. They put a little bit of metal thing on top of it, but everything else, all the buttons and faders, you know, the one that is like a mixer.
Yeah, I think that's season 2. That's in season 2. Yeah.
When I saw it, I had to go back, find it, magnify it, and check it because I could not believe it. They just take off the shelf a Korg nano control, put a little bit of tape on the brand, and make a full screen first shot of it. It's like the Eventide H3000 on, like in what was the Jodie Foster film about the aliens?
Yeah.
Contact.
Oh, I was literally about to mention that.
H3000s in the background. Every time they try to show high tech, experimental, I made it myself tech, it's always sound gear from any studio.
Yeah, it's not a H3000 as Mugu mentioned in chat as well. It's a DSP 4000. But we put a meme up about this a few weeks ago anyway. It's really quite common. That people use. I mean, there's been Akai Forces there's already been Akai Forces in videos where it's like some sort of, you know, mission control center with all these like flashing lights and stuff like that, and they're really cool because they've got heaps of big bright pads that change colors and stuff. So
and they change color.
Yep.
The PKE meter in Ghostbusters is a Radio Shack microphone with the XY mics going like this. They motorized the XY mics. Yeah.
If you ever watch what's Adam Savage's channel is Tested or whatever
Mythbusters.
it is.
Mythbusters, but Tested is
they go into stuff like kit bashing, which is how art directors used to create, you know, Star Wars spaceships and stuff like that by taking kits of other kits and putting them all together. And in general, art directors are quite good at like magpieing, grabbing bits from all sorts of different places and just putting them together.
Yeah, like from planes and a ship and a submarine all together in one model.
So it's you know, and especially if you're in television, you've got to do it a lot quicker than in cinema. So they have to, doing things like that, you know, grabbing a MIDI controller and changing it. Yeah, that sounds like television. But yeah, they're very resourceful. They're happy to borrow all sorts of stuff.
Once you see it, you can unsee it. It's like, oh my
That's
god!
the thing.
Because we're talking about, I think it's like what, 70 quid for that controller, 70-ish, less than 100.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
The Korg nano controller, the fader one. They don't give a shit. Just buy another one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Kent's joined us in StreamYard. He's been sitting
Good
there,
afternoon.
waiting patiently.
Long time listener, first time
Hey,
caller.
Ken.
All right, how's it going?
You're lying.
One of us.
Anybody know how MIDI works?
Nah,
Nope.
the guy
Nobody
that
ever-
made it has passed on as well. He hasn't told us
I'm
anything
sure-
Is
about
that MIDI or a
maybe,
quadruple power connector?
Well, I don't, it could be easy, couldn't it? I'm going to have to go and watch a Korg instructional video. I'm sure they have
Have to plug that.
They're really good at it. You know, they
They are.
But Kent, that was after you touched it, though, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure
the touch
somebody
of doom.
before has asked me what is aftertouch, and it's sort of like, well, normally jail. One question. I did put it in the chat, and nobody answered this. When is Jordan
How dare
Rogers
they?
going to finish eating that rabbit? Simple question.
that's
can't
his
get an answer
trademark.
to it.
Because Wisdom Music, his Wisdom Music label that does all the software for iOS and stuff, takes advantage of that beard with a little hat on. He's like Wisdom Music, like wizard. So he embraces that.
Oh, it's a beard. I just thought it was a rabbit he was saving for later. Okay.
He thinks he's
That's
Merlin.
I reckon so many people have dared him to shave it off, eh?
Oh, yeah, wouldn't it?
But it's also food storage. You can squeeze it out, and get. That was an old Mad Magazine joke. So.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's bonus, isn't it? When you've got a little bit of extra food there.
He's a
you can-
conservationist. isn't he? He's
Yeah.
probably got wildlife.
It's
Grab it a bit
aftertaste.
later on.
So how you
There are
doing?
two other things that stuck out that I can think of in that Goofy Loki show. There was a Volca drum used as a high-tech background piece in one of the camera
Oh
shots.
God, I need to.
that
Yeah,
I was
that's right.
commenting
There
on.
was too. Yep. I remember that.
And then my favorite is the Ozzy Osbourne playing with the ARP 2600 he pulled out of the attic in that Osbourne show, where he's swearing constantly while it's going. Weep, 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 weep.
When's he not swearing?
He probably understood it.
It was like a broken ARP 2600, and he was just swearing the whole time. It was very funny.
Yeah, that was actually really
was
funny.
broken. It's meant to sound like that.
Kind of. Well, he hadn't been touched since 1975 or something, so
There's so many.
Inbox.
There are so many touch jokes coming out of this show today. It's not funny. Andy,
And we haven't been mentioning knobs. Nearly
he
all
hasn't
night.
been touched in 1975.
Yeah. Knobs have been left out of it quite a bit lately. Yeah.
I think they
Not
need to
an
bring in
unfair.
before touch.
Oh,
Movie now.
Darren, you need to
on.
trademark that right now. Go just.
Yeah. Although I've
Look at
known a
this.
couple of
This
keyboards
plays
that had
before
it.
you actually touched it.
Yeah. I've had synths
Teenage
that have done
engineering before touch.
That. Yeah. Our Odysseys that actually play notes when nobody's near them. Quite bizarre. With the cat whiskers just too close to the contact bar.
There's a little Herbie Hancock
that's
in
what
every
that's what those teenage engineering dolls were for. The wooden dolls that show me where you've been touched.
Oh, yeah.
Show me where you've been articulated.
Yeah.
Oh, this is getting crazy.
Going to hell.
Guys, thank you very much. Thank you. Best birthday gift ever.
Wait a minute.
Thank you
So
very
I've
much.
come on, and within 5 minutes, it's one of my pugs. What happened?
Exactly. Yeah.
Is it me?
You happened.
It's me, isn't it? Yeah, it's me.
It's Ranz's had
I think it's-
Ranz's had a
it's
few
the
beers and
frog
it's a
game
slow
in the
news week. That's what it is.
Yeah, slow news weeks, man. Jeez. Yes. So
It just means that us
Nice
musicians have got a sense of humour. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Korg
Thank God.
definitely.
Have you seen the
Either
Nautilus?
Korg have got a really twisted sense of humour, or they don't have a sense of humour at all.
yeah. I don't know who they do.
You must have it, otherwise, some of the news is like, "What? Are you kidding me?"
I know. I
Some-
bet you $1 million that Ian is chaffing at the bit to try and get on this show to make a comment about Korg right now. He really would be. I feel sorry.
Well,
he'll be back on
come
next
on.
week though. Oh,
Good.
that's amazing.
We miss you, Ian.
That's incredible.
Well, until we
I'm
get
not
to
replacing
the
for you.
site,
We
Nobody-
all know that.
Nobody can take Korg down better than Ian can.
Let's go over to Mr. Kent anyway and ask how his week's been, because we should do that, because it's a nice thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you fish, by the way? It says fished it. What did you fish?
Oh, with the called Nautilus joke in the chat.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Drawn into that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Captain Nemo thing. Yeah.
Caught it through.
Yeah. Yeah, with the whole you can't repair a Nautilus. Because if you open it up, all the water rushes in, everybody drowns. But yeah, I left just enough gap for people to go, what, why? Can you not get the boards? Come to me.
Comic timing.
Oh,
very good, Ken.
Oh, MIDI cables. Yes, week has been busy, but I've been doing a lot more work in here.
Good.
Gluing tiles up, mostly, obviously.
All right. No, fair enough.
Yeah, and and just trying to get things to work with other things. They should.
Hey, Ken, is that a guitar hook on the wall there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Minus the guitar.
Yeah,
minus
where's your guitar?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say?
Yeah, of course you are.
He's a synth repair guy. Where's your guitar?
Yeah.
In the bin. He's right in the bin. Where it belongs.
Logic, people.
I got the.
You have a guitar rack, guitar hook. You got to have a guitar at some point, right? So.
Yeah. No, it's
does.
Eduardo.
He will.
He's doing the biz on it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm making it
Put
playable.
a nice Casio PG380 up there. It's a MIDI guitar with synth.
Yeah. No, I must admit. I mean, Eduardo told me everything he was going to do to my guitar, and I understood one word in 10.
Good. That's
So
good.
he's
That's
doing-
the one you need
yeah,
to
he's
understand.
You're doing something.
Was that a swear word,
Yeah.
Kent?
Which one?
The one word that you understood. From
Yeah,
Eddie.
yeah.
I am gonna
in my limited knowledge. Yeah. So
your guitar.
I've been messing with that CXM this morning.
Yes.
Show me again, please. Please show me.
It's come on, camera. Use this camera.
Oh, it's not playing ball.
Where is it?
All right. Yes, it is. It's good.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's the reverb, right?
Yes. It does.
I envy you. I'm so jealous.
I went to Neiman, a guy was using that. It sounded amazing. Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's really good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 244 emulator.
Okay.
And by Jove, it is. It really, really is. So
Nice.
yeah,
Aren't you glad you
very
got
nice.
it?
Yeah, but it took me like 4 days to get it going because it doesn't come with a power supply. So I had to get a power supply for it first.
Why don't they ship power supplies? That does my head in.
Because they reckon that with guitar pedals, you'll have a board.
I get an explanation.
With a central supply already, that kind of thing. So they go, we won't send.
No, not
When you
really.
think about it, the Boss pedals, they never came with supplies today.
So Mogafogas started.
they were combative.
They started to
Doesn't.
ship with power supplies, right? The Mogafogas started to do it, and then they stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Like someone said, "Oh, we're not going to ship them anymore with power supplies."
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't need to
They're just
power
getting
our
more
weird
expensive.
reverse voltage, crazy, stupid power supply. You're just going to find it somewhere in your pedal
Somebody
board.
probably nudged them and just said, "That's a guitar pedal, mate. You're not supposed to ship with power supplies."
Not only that, but once they added USB as an option, they stopped putting power supplies in everything. It sucks.
Yeah. But I can give one explanation of why, of a possible why. That pedal is so high up in the pedal hierarchy, like it's definitely not entry level. It's not even medium level. It's like pro level because of the price and the quality, that they give for granted that everybody who can afford it have already a power supply for many, many other pedals. That's the only explanation I can give it for not having a in the box power supply for it. But what you were not what?
I didn't have one. I had to order it.
That's why I need tons of these, because you can switch the voltage and you have different adapter plugs, and you can flip polarity on them. So
Yeah.
There was a time when they
I had loads.
What did you ask for?
Ironically, I have
Like,
loads of them in the workshop. I have loads and loads of them because I'm always having to hand them out to people with their because they'll bring me a Wasp. Oh, it doesn't work, and it's the power supply that's gone. So I found a suitable power supply with the changer and everything. But I hadn't ordered any in lately, so.
So the question is, what does he ask for? 9 volts center negative or what?
That one there.
That's your 18-volt one.
18 volts. And they ship Dunlop ship them with a power supply. Yeah.
I hate the ones that are a weird voltage, but they're actually AC in. And not
the Elises.
And then don't
Elises
say.
stuff.
Yes, because some of them don't say.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But pedal power supplies come, the very, very fancy ones come with AC supplies.
Yeah, they should. They damn well should. I say!
But that's supposed to be a 1,200 quid pedal, and it didn't come with a power supply.
Is.
So. And the box was certainly big enough to put one in. So.
And they don't work on battery. Ranzee, the MXR, does it work on
Maybe
battery?
they smoke the same stuff as Korg. You never know.
Yes.
Yes,
I
it
think
does, but 2 9-volt batteries on the bottom.
Does it have a compartment, or do you have to unscrew it?
Did you know that a 9-volt battery, if you take it apart, is actually AAA batteries inside?
I'm not sure it's AAA. I think there's a quadruple A size. Because
might be that,
skinny
the little skinny ones. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
It's 6 of them connected in series.
Yeah,
6 batteries inside a 9-volt.
Yeah.
They don't make them a single block anymore. Yeah.
Hey, it works for Tesla. It's just tons of tiny batteries hooked together. So.
Yeah.
And they burn. That's why they burn.
Keep you warm in the winter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
That's the MXR.
Yeah, it's nice.
So, is that flanger or phaser? I never get them right.
Flanger.
It's flanger. Can you get it to go super crazy with the overdone feedback on it?
Yeah.
Kind of that weird bouncy.
Yeah, the regen. You can do it with the regen.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
Yeah. Because it's analog. That's why it sounds crazy, because it can do analog stuff. And it's not kind of fake things like digital.
It has headroom.
I'm just kidding.
That's why I bought an original Stone phaser, because although I've tried out many different plugins, they just don't.
They don't sound like they
sound right somehow.
Oops, wrong button.
By the way, Ranzee, that was very creamy what you just played.
There it is. That is really good. Sorry, I'm trying to work out what camera you're on.
Loving the picture, by the way, the sunset.
God, I thought one of me was bad enough.
Yeah.
No. We can never have enough of you, mate.
Actually, Kent, I'm going to ask you, what do you think of the Pro 800? Honest opinion.
The original one or the Behringer one?
The Pro 800, the Behringer one.
Oh, okay. I do beg your pudding. Yeah. I heard it, and I think it's very nice, actually. It is actually very nice. It's okay.
That sounds nice.
Okay. It is okay. I wouldn't buy one.
Sure.
Then I wouldn't have bought, because it's based on the
P600.
The 600.
P600. And I didn't like that either, so that's fine. They just basically tried something I didn't like.
So I remember people saying when the 600 came out that it was thin, right? I hate that term, right? But but that's the Curtis trait.
Yeah,
really.
No, actually, it was just spelt wrong. It's cheap. It was cheap. It was the cheapest way to produce that synth, basically.
Yeah.
You couldn't have made it cheaper than it was.
Which is why Behringer have jumped onto it, theoretically.
Well, yeah, and made it cheaper. So
yeah,
it's a challenge.
But that French guy, Gleegly, who did the mod, and that wasn't until, when was that? 2013 or something? 2012, 2013, when he started coding that mod. So that's actually quite recent. When you think about it, the Pro 800 came out Pro 600, sorry, came out in the 80s, early 80s, right? 30 years later, a guy does a mod for it, which probably it wasn't until then that actually made that synth actually pretty good.
Yes,
the mod.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So without that mod, I would definitely be on Kent's side with the thoughts about the Pro 600, because it really doesn't dazzle you at all as a bass, synth without anything, any mods or anything that Gleely put. But because that Gleely mod came out and they used the Teensy type processor or whatever it was to do it, it had a lot more power than a Z80 did back in the 80s, right? So they were able to do a whole bunch of other cool stuff. And one of the things, Kent, would you agree with this, is the envelopes were absolutely atrocious on it. The original.
Oh, they were horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely horrible. I don't know how they managed to screw it up that badly, to be honest.
Well, they were digital, weren't they? So that's probably half the problem.
Yeah, but you can... I think with a little bit more work, they could have made that better. But it's one of these things where it was focused on a hole in the market where they had these people who wanted P5s, couldn't afford P5s, but wanted the P5 sound or as close as near as and so they were quite successful in that endeavour, to be fair. But several years later, people are going, wait a minute, why did I buy this? So by which time profit have gone, thanks for the money, and gone. And so it's not really a problem for them.
Profit made some profit.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's technically what they were supposed to be doing, so good on them. But yeah, it was a very, very cut down, cheap version. Sort of like, sort of Behringer-esque version of their P5.
Yeah.
And Behringer have claimed it. Well done.
So the Take 5, right, which is their new cheap, we'll call it a cheap synth. We won't rubbish with the word cheap, but it is their cheap synth. So how does that compare if you were sort of thinking Prophet 5 versus Prophet 600 back in the day versus what Sequential are doing now with their Prophet 6, their new Prophet 5 remake, and this Take 5 that's out?
Well, they struck... I don't know a great deal about them, I'll be honest. Certainly haven't had any coming broken, which is always encouraging. But what I do know from that, the Pro 3 I've got, which I found to be a deliciously lovely synth, to be honest, for the money as well. It's very keenly priced as well. So, yeah, I think what they they did in this, should we say, this second wind that they've had, has been very good, and the pricing has been quite good as well. Whether that's just a case of like that's the way the market is, and they just had to find a way to do it and get them out of those prices, but it's pretty sweet because pound for pound, I mean, a Prophet 5 was almost the same as two brand new cars when it came out.
Yeah,
two family saloons.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could probably get my Chrysler for about the same price as a Pro 3 now, but it's it's good. So it's been advancements all in the right direction.
Yeah, so, they're trying to get it in the hands of the many, without rubbishing too much on their brand. Was kind of the feel I got. So I went and tried to Take 5, and I mean the first thing that you notice if you've ever played Dave Smith synths before is they're very wood and metal and heavy and substantial, right? So you can feel the quality in some degree. Not everything in its quality though, because we won't go into that. But generally speaking, the whole thing's fairly quality feeling. Then the Take 5 was quite plasticky. So that was the first thing that I noticed. But I don't mind that because I'd be shooting myself in the foot because I buy a Roland System 8s and that thing's just one big blob of plastic basically. So
yeah, but it's worked for Sequential before in the past. I mean, when it comes to being plasticky, if you compare T8s and Prophet 5s, the Pro 1.
Oh yeah.
And what a stonker that was. Still is, actually. I mean, people pay stupid money to have me restore them to brand new again. apart from Brooksy because he was a mate. So, but and they are a joy to work on.
And it was dear to
They
him
really
too.
are.
It was dear to him.
Yeah. It's always nice when there's some, sentimental attachments to them as well when you're restoring them. So, and it was a stonking machine. Well, initially when it came out, people were going, "Oh, it's a bit cheap," and then they heard it, and that was it. I mean, that must be one of their most successful keyboards of all time. Got to be even more successful than the P5, just through sheer amount of sales.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Go, shoot.
Just
Not
because
what's
I
the
don't know.
capital of France again, is it?
I never ask that. I would never bother.
You keep asking that. Come on. Come on, sorry. Come on.
Sometimes. Yeah. So Prophet 5, Prophet 1, Prophet 3 is just a voice count difference, or is there a deeper difference between them?
In some cases it is. In some cases it's not.
Yeah, and in some cases it isn't. Yeah.
So the Pro 3,
the
Pro 3 is the odd one out there.
Because
I'll let Kent answer this because the Pro 3 is quite an interesting synth. So Kent, tell them what the Pro 3 is.
Please.
It's that over there.
Yeah.
You know what?
Thanks,
I don't. Yeah. So, thanks. Okay, come again. What you have to realise is, I actually spend so much time actually working on keyboards. I hardly know half of these things still. I'm still. This is what this sabbatical is to actually get to know and use the stuff that I bought over the last 5 years.
Okay.
But the time I spent with it, because of the sequencer, the amount of waveforms, the morphing, and oh my god, just everything on it that you can do. It's just like it's
so
a
sequencer
morphing
stuff. I've never heard that coming from the Pro 5, for instance. I don't think that was in the 5.
No. The 5 was technically for a polysynth. It was basically basic.
Exactly, it was like a polyphonic mini Moog. That's the concept I have in my head.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them were all pretty much done the same way in terms of having 2 VCOs, a filter, 2 envelope generators, blah blah blah. Immediately, I think there was a little more you could do with the Prophet 600 because there was more computer control, and you could do computer routing of audio up to a point.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's like I say, it's the architectures were similar, but also not at the same time.
But they had extra stuff, so it's just not. Yeah, I mean, it's just not 5 voices, 3 voices, 1 voice. Okay, thank you.
Well, it is. The Pro 3 has three voices, right?
Yeah,
three oscillators, and it's duophonic, and it's got a wave. It's got the digital element in it, right? So it's a hybrid. So that's where it's different.
Yeah, but the naming was always obviously focused more at its voice count and everything else. But,
then you had 600, just didn't have 600 voices.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
But it sounded good.
Ripped off, man. I want my 800 voices, Behringer.
Yeah.
Well,
you
actually,
that
you
me.
could afford to...
Gypped.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
10 Pro.
I need to reboot.
You've just frozen your camera, but we can still hear you.
Eddie has... Yeah. We can still hear you.
Yeah, my camera is haywire, so I'm going to just re-engage it.
All right, cool. Do that.
Yeah, the Pro 3 is very modular friendly, right? That's what I heard.
Yeah, lots of ins and outs on the back of her.
Wagoo keeps raving about the Pro 3's. There's a few things that he likes about it, but he keeps raving about it. I think it's got a really interesting sequencer on it, right?
Yeah.
And there's things that sequencer does that not a lot of sequencers do. So, you just spoke in the chat.
So it's one of the ones to have. Get you.
Yeah, I mean, like,
basically,
what are you looking at for
the
a
manual
Pro 3?
for that? I still have in its zip bag. I haven't even opened it yet. Just haven't had time to use it. I've only
They're
spent
about-
about
Exactly,
15
as you
minutes
should.
on this Osmos.
What are they, about £1,500? They're not that expensive.
Something like that. They weren't
Yeah.
massive. For what you were getting, no, they weren't massively expensive. I know
Yeah.
1,500 quid does sound like a lot of money for it's technically a mono synth, but it has 3 voices. But that's
I tried the
sharing
NAMM
made,
launch. It
isn't
sounded great. I just didn't have much time with it, but it just really sounded great.
Yeah.
But Dave,
So how many?
there's a lot of Dave in that synth too, so that's something else to remember. So he did a lot of the engineering with the digital side of stuff in that synth. He loves that sort of stuff.
And the polyevolver as well, which I love. So
Yeah. I mean, look at their sort of evolution, right? Because Dave hasn't worked on everything solely by himself. He's got teams of people, and in some cases he didn't. You know, in the early days of the DSI, it was basically him on his own, and then it slowly built back, and he got some other guys helping him out. But just towards the end there, he had quite a big team. So those synths that they were pumping out at the end, some of them probably weren't as much Dave. But definitely, I remember him talking fondly of the Pro 3 about how he put a lot of time into that. So the digital side of it is really impressive. Yeah.
Well, he's pretty smart to leverage. He had basically the same stuff in the Prophet 8, the Mofo, and the Tetra. So no more R&D costs really, and he made a lot of money off of them. So that was pretty smart.
Sure.
Well, he knew how to work. There were two kind of chips that he liked, like the SSM and the Curtis, right? So he knew how to work those quite well.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And
But
knowing
Okay,
knowing what those chips can produce and how to dial something in a computer chip, but then using other circuits to evolve that is actually quite an art. So whilst we kind of take it for granted, I don't know if you guys have ever even looked at trying to sort of put a polyphonic synth together. It's just a nightmare.
No, we haven't.
It is a freaking
we
nightmare.
haven't.
Don't do it.
Silly question. So, what is the timeline? I guess it's 5, 1, and 3. Was that the release sequence?
His first synth. Didn't he have something before the 5? There was something before the 5, but it wasn't very well known. Oh, geez, we've talked about this before.
No, but from these 3 we're talking about.
Oh, from the Prophets.
sequence is that, right?
The 5 was first, then I think was the 1 before the 5 or the 5 before the 1?
No, I think that the Pro 1 came out round about the same time as the Prophet Rev 3.0 or 3.1, somewhere around there.
Okay, so
where
later.
he was making the jump from SSM to Curtis.
There is it's on their website. The history of their synths. You just go to their website. It's on there.
Yeah, but it's more fun for the people who actually know it.
Yeah.
But we burnt midnight oil before now, wondering what the Pro 1 would have sounded like if it had SSM in it instead of Curtis. Hello.
Oh no. And Behringer, when they brought out their Pro 1 clone thing here, right? You know, they had an opportunity to do some sort of special stuff with it. They did some stuff to it, but they had an opportunity to do some stuff with it that I reckon there would have been people in their ear going, hey, do that, but they didn't do it.
Yeah, they should have done what a Korg did with the MS-20 Mini, where you had a choice of filters.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the Pro 3 has the filter option too, right?
Yeah.
You've got the 3 different.
But for an older style thing to have that choice is pretty special. Though.
Yeah. But I think there was something about one of the filters that people were kind of gassing about at the time when it came out, and I've just forgotten what it was now off the top of my head. I can't read of it. Prophet 6 filter was the one that they put in, and the other one was a standard Moog ladder filter, but the third one is a state variable classic 2-pole. And that's what everyone's raving about, which is based on the Oberheim filter. So,
that sounds nice.
Wow. One of the problems with filters is that it really changes the tonal sound of the synth.
Everything.
And if you
It's a bottleneck.
Yeah, well, if you've got a synth that's got multiple filters on it, you're getting a different sound each time you change
As
the
long
filters.
as some of them are good.
Yeah. It gets to the
I've been
point
going
where
through the filters in the 55. They're not that nice, trust me.
But Eddie, what you like in a filter, I might not like. I'm not saying that we're
That's you.
but that's the thing with filters. They can be quite a personal thing.
Taste.
Steiner Parker, ladder filter. You've got your
because it goes
Butterworth
with
filters, right?
everybody's hearing, which is different. Yeah.
Have you guys heard of Butterworth filter?
Yep. It's
No.
standard. It's an op amp reference circuit, if I recall.
Yeah,
Remember doing it from
and they have a certain tone about them when you're reducing frequencies through it. So they're quite clinical.
And if it's not a different tone, it's just a different behavior. It's the nature of the beast. Different circuit, different behavior.
Well, you get different behaviors with filters when you start overdriving them or when you start modulating them with amplitude modulation, things like that. So that's kind of where you get the cool effects from, right? And then,
Cool. Yeah.
But some filters don't do that very well at all, so,
Yeah. I know.
We were talking about this the other day with the Roland System 100 filters, right? They were quite clinical. They were quite a clinical filter. They're a beautiful sounding filter. They do its job. Like it's almost like if you were going in to get an operation and you came out and you never even knew that the operation even happened. That's your System 100 filter for you. Does its job.
Which
no
is
one noticed.
on its own. Yeah.
In our house, we call that ghost shits. When you go to the toilet, you do a shit, wipe your bum, and there's no poo on it. You think, what? That's the Roland System 100 filter.
yeah.
Hey, before I forget, did I ever show the MS-20 Mini I got? The guy modded the shit out of it. Look at this. It's got a patch bay in the top.
Hang on. Bang.
Oh, God.
With switches and stuff on it, so you can do all your modifications on the fly. And they even added a mult patch bay on it.
Nice.
And no labels, I see.
This is the one that...
Yeah, he gave me a legend for it, so he didn't want to
Some
make it
people
all
have too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
So I take it that's the one with the synth inside.
No, this is the Mini. Not the fake one that hooks to the computer.
That's the IP IMS20 or whatever it was called. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the proper Mini, even though it has like mini.
Anyway, getting back to the Roland filter, the only time that then people discovered that you start overdriving that thing, all of a sudden it sounded good, and then Roland, brought out the the SH5 filter. Now they're listening, So,
but I preferred the 100, like the 700 and the 100 filter. Essentially the same filter. To me, I prefer that one. But then the sounds that I'm always going for are what's creamy.
Yeah. Oh, and they are.
Again.
That's the word.
and I'll stay away. I don't go for the harsh and sharp unless. Well, I will, but I want harsh and sharp over the top of creamy. So creamy's doing the big chords, harsh and sharp over the top.
Yeah.
Obviously complementary.
I'm also
timbre
probably
contrast.
Yeah. But that might be because I might have Greek blood in me. I don't know. Hi, baby.
Of course you do. Yeah. Everything rubs.
Yeah.
Oh, and doesn't that have a lovely filter? I mean, seriously, that is a beautiful filter.
And yet the filter standalone is quite nasty.
Yeah.
It's not wonderful.
Yeah. Hold that
don't
thought.
put time waste through it. It's a waste of time.
It's a bit like Vegemite, You wouldn't have it by itself, would you?
I have been known. I've been known.
Yeah,
it's harsh on its own, but it's great with the piece of bread, spreadly thing.
Or on cheese.
It's all about.
So this is the thing about filters, right? So I'm with Kent. I absolutely love the Roland System 100 filter, and that's probably because of how reliable it is as a filter. It's there are filters that are insanely unreliable. You cannot dial up that sound that you made 5 minutes ago the next time you use it. Hey, SH5.
Okay. Steiner Parker. Steiner Parker. Every time, mate.
Yep. And I mean, that sounds almost metallic sometimes, the Steiner Parker. It's crazy how you can get noises out of that thing.
I mean, I've got an original Mark
Intriguing.
1 Synthicon downstairs, and it is mental.
Yeah.
Absolutely mental. But honest to God, I'm glad that the workshop has double glazed windows and not single pane, because I wouldn't have any bloody glass in it now.
Yeah.
The panes left.
Because the fault
Okay,
on
question.
it was, it's full resonance all the time. It doesn't matter what you do. It's full resonance. You turn it on, and it just goes
Okay.
like that. You
Yeah.
have to run out of the room.
And you got 400 dogs outside the window wanting to come in.
So,
You
which
call?
one is the one, or the one that is closer to the 303? Which one is in there? Because I'm in
The
researching
System
that.
100. The System 100 is closer.
So that's the one in the 303.
Yeah. The only reason why the
theoret-
System 100 doesn't sound like a 303 is because it's not going through a distortion circuit, right? Or an overdrive.
Yeah.
The moment that you
Oh, it's
do
not
that...
so overdriven.
Well, I've done it here on the show. I've put a System 100 filter through one. It's not really a System 100. It was a Behringer System 100, but it's done by AM Synths, so it's it's as
It's the
close
next
as it's
best
ever going to
thing.
be. Yeah. And you put it through an
This is
overdrive,
the
it sounds like a
advantage.
303. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the advantage of component-based filters as opposed to chip-based.
Yep.
Because that's in there and locked, and you can't get at it. But the component ones, you can mess around with them, you can overdrive them, underdrive them, you can do anything you bloody want with them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good point.
9 times out of 10, you'll get a mess, but sometimes you just get lucky and you get this perfect balance across, across
Mess
the
is
whole
good.
sweep range. Yeah.
See,
This is good.
see, this is where like Studio Electronics rescued Roland with their SEO2 because they put this stupid tiny little knob that I don't know who has got fingers like that is supposed to be able to dial some sort of perfect filter sound with this tiny little knob, right? And they made it digital. Oh, but it's got high resolution, people. It should be fine. Doesn't matter. And so what Studio Electronics did is, well, hey, we got CV control in this thing. We'll just make a big fat knob that
EXT
normal
box,
people
yeah.
can actually touch. And now your SEO2 actually sounds amazing, even though it's a Moog.
And they
style.
added goodies to that box too, extra stuff.
Yeah. So learn,
Okay.
people, learn.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Learn from
you
your
can't
mistakes.
fake something. You've got to do the thing that it's supposed to do. Don't try and fake it. Don't try and emulate it some way, because we'll find ways to prove to you that it's never going to be as good as the original.
But that's the Roland way. Enticing the next generation, making them believe they're getting the same thing the previous generation had. Sorry, it triggers my buttons.
As a set and forget, like Roland do it brilliantly. So if you want to get that sound and you want to dial it up as a patch, set and forget, Roland have they're probably the best in the business at it. They can recreate their own analog synths digitally as a set and forget, and you won't be able to pick it in the mix. But when you start modulating it, modifying it, and you want to start doing stuff
It's
with
one
that
they
sound,
don't.
that's when you'll notice there's a difference. When it sort of
I get you.
travels off its path. When you start playing with the PCMs.
It's the in between points. It's the in
Yeah,
between points that matter.
yeah.
Get you.
And I was literally about to put my SEO2 back on the used market and get rid of it. I really liked it because it was one of the only Roland analog synths that they brought out. I mean, they didn't really bring it out. It was Studio Electronics that they just did the digital side of it. But it was a good sounding synth. Just because it's tiny and it's a boutique and people hate little knobs and that doesn't mean it doesn't deserve a place in a studio. But then
No, that's great.
they brought that little extension box out and it fixed it. Because all the other stuff can be digital. It doesn't matter. Your sequencer, your changing patch channels, user banks, all that sort of stuff. Digital to your heart's content, because that's where digital is perfect on a synthesizer.
Oh,
That's where its job is. But when you
And
want to
affordable.
scroll through a Moog ladder filter and you want to find all those beautiful harmonic nuances that are in it, you cannot do that even if you've got 96 kilohertz of digital brilliance in there. It won't matter. It won't matter. You just
Not
can't
even
do it.
MIDI 2 will do it.
Well,
Can I
I
just
don't
take this
think so.
opportunity to say, hi, Darren. All right, mate.
All right.
He's just
having
six
a
pack.
Poor old, Poor old soul. He's
Who
stuck
loves
there.
it?
Just sort of like falling asleep, poor guy.
He
How you
just
doing,
sits
mate?
back.
All right.
I'm not falling asleep.
Ken's having a dig at you,
I'm
mate.
pedaling here, charging my batteries up, so I don't have to switch the lights on.
There's a bloody electric bill. Don't talk to me
Oh,
about that
no,
shit.
You need
Oh,
a few
yeah.
hamsters
Oh,
and
yeah.
wheels.
Jesus.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want to feel
Now
heat
that you mentioned
coming off his 80s.
the what? Say
Oh,
what?
don't
Hear
worry.
feel the heat coming off this CS80. It's like having a 3-bar fire in here. It's lovely.
That's why I took my
It's
jacket
very
off. It's cold here. We're in the middle of winter here, right?
Yeah.
But in
Yeah.
this room, after about 10 minutes in here, turning everything on, it's like,
It's warm.
what heater? You don't need a heater in here. It's beautiful.
I know. I know.
Well, you're also getting excited talking about
Look at
synths,
this.
so you're warming up. So
That's true.
And knobs.
And knobs and creaminess. Yeah.
yeah, lots of creaminess.
So
Yeah.
now that you mentioned the Rolands, the small ones, did they really thought? Because I'm really curious. I would love to be the fly in the wall when they had that meeting. Did they really thought that people would be able to perform like in all a spectrum of people all over the globe to perform all of them, or they just gave for granted? No, we're just gonna put the least amount of hardware, so they use everything through MIDI.
I think it was more the desktop kid in a bedroom studio getting as many different sound modules as possible. I think that was the market that they were after. Or the DJ
But,
with
as I said-
the DJ with the set, and he's got a few bits and pieces at the
But you
club.
still can split that family into two. The DAW guys, the Ableton Live plugged and get all the sounds with the right modulations, with everything working, but not with my hands doing it, and the real DJs who actually do it with their hands. What did they actually had in mind when they released that format?
I think it's,
Anybody?
as we said before, I think it's to dial up the sound. And remembering 90% of the stuff that they bring out now, 99% of it's digital. So dial up that sound. Oh, it sounds like an 80 synth. Oh, it sounds like a Jupiter.
Done.
That's what they were after.
Okay, next.
They've been doing that for years, right? They have been doing that since
Yeah.
like the mid early 90s,
Even the
late
JVs,
80s.
you could, even the JVs, you can accuse them of that because they curated a lot of Roland classics by the 90s, deep in. I mean, 808, 303, it's all in there.
What was that thing they brought out
some
recently?
stages.
Was it the SH? Was it an SH404? Is that what it was called? What was that thing they brought out?
SH4A?
H4D.
SH4A.
H4OD,
yeah.
yeah.
4A,
One of those, yeah.
O4D.
So okay, so this is probably a really good question for you guys, right? Because we've talked about Roland and what they've been doing. That's a recent product from them. That's this year. Did they release a product that everyone wanted in the market? It's all digital.
I don't know anything about it.
It sounds good. I
I'll
play
grab
well
a
at Guitar
picture up.
Center. Yeah.
What is it? What is
First
it
of all,
achieving?
what is it?
What is it achieving?
Well, they weren't chasing ghosts anyway.
It has a bunch of models in it. So there's like a Juno 106 sound in it. There's a Juno, SH101 potential in it. There's a bunch of different little modules in it, basically soft modules,
Okay.
and it's pretty decent. It's like a groove box with a bunch of synthy bits in it.
Okay. Yeah, but once again, look the proportion with that hand. It's like
It's a little
They
fiddly
just
too. Many
discarded me
divey
there.
fiddly, but yeah.
if I was, because I'm not, if I was their target customer, they just discarded me with the size of the thing itself. I cannot not even see them. So
I
It's
think
aimed
they're
at the kitten
primary.
fiddlers, isn't it?
It's also aimed at the backpack musicians. So it has to fit in the backpack. It's the first thing.
Look at their marketing
And the
tools.
second thing is, I want those classic sounds.
It's a retro sounding machine marketed towards the people of today, wanting it to be something that they can get instantly without having to go through all the crap that we went through in the 80s to tune your synthesizer because it was analog and it went out of tune and all that sort of stuff, right? That's
And
what it
instead
is.
of D-beam, it's on this giant accelerometer. You can tilt the unit while you play it. So,
That was
it's the
interesting.
Nintendo version.
Yeah. So when you
this
think
has got
about
it
that,
too.
yeah, so that little thing that you've
Oh,
got
it
there,
does.
the rollker, yeah. We probably we're just probably old crusty synth, guys
little bit,
from,
yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
What we want is not what the younger generation want. That's
Of course,
probably
they can actually read the letters there.
that's probably what
was
the younger
enjoyable.
They
generation
can see
want.
that screen.
It's an enjoyable thing, kind of, sort of. It's just a little menu divey and convoluted. So,
Okay.
but all in one little box.
I
you
do
know, it's got.
I do find there's a lot of young people do want the old out of tune crappy stuff. Just can't afford it.
Oh, absolutely.
They
There is.
desire.
Obviously.
Desire it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But do they want it because they never had to suffer it? And do they actually want the full of it, or they just want to be able to switch it off?
It's a good question.
did they bring
Probably
ACB
all
back?
three camps. Probably all three camps.
I think it's
some people
Zencore
who-
mostly.
So that's got no ACB in it. It's Zencore, right?
I don't think so. They'd have to charge more if they made ACB, and it'd have less polyphony.
Of course. Always has to have less position.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's the thing that we all assume, right? But from what I've worked out, it's probably because they made a chip that's custom made by Roland, and at the moment making well, maybe not today, but like the last 3 years, making a chip was just about almost impossible because one of those chip factories burnt to the ground.
Yeah.
That custom chip probably wasn't able to be made by Roland. That was probably the reason why they went to Zencore, because it's more on the PCM, older sort of
That
style.
makes total sense.
And it plays on with the whole
Just
cloud
just a
thing
guess.
everyone likes. So it's
Would you? I mean, it's a pretty educated guess, but it's just a guess. That's what I think anyway. I don't have a problem with digital, by the way. I love digital synths. There's things about it that I like. But
Only Mr. Digital, man.
I just don't trust some of the digital emulations. That's kind of where I'm coming from. I don't trust it. I'm still in that.
In which
that
level?
camp. As much. You could put a Cray computer in, or whatever. What's the fastest computer today? I'm just showing my age now, aren't I? But you could put a really fast computer, right, and say, look, this thing is 128 kilohertz, and it's got the latest Intel titanium gobsmacking CPU, and it's like you need to power it with 600 diesel generators, and it will produce a Moog ladder filter perfectly for you. And I'm like, who gives a shit? Just get some, diodes.
Resistors and capacitors, mate.
Yeah.
Put them in a ladder formation, and you've got the job done. What are we trying so hard here?
Yeah. Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel just to make it cheaper?
It's like
Unfortunately,
the Cherry
my
Audio
world-
stuff. It's cheap and it sounds good. So
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately,
sounds
in my
awesome,
world, though,
mate.
when it comes to Moog filters, they go, "Oh yeah, but which one?"
Yeah.
Well, that's
I mean,
that's the next conversation.
Do you want the one from the 3C with the paper caps? Because that's the authentic, real.
No.
And all this sort of like, it's like, oh God, somebody kill me.
Yeah, but it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg, and it's gonna last only for 5 years.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the
shouldn't
same with
last
minis.
more- it should last
You
more
can
than
hear
5
the
years.
different the sounds in the mini Moog changing from 72 up to 1980, and
Everything changed.
there are
everything-
people
even-
who have years that they prefer. They will only buy a mini Moog if
obviously.
it's coming from 1974 or something like that. Well, that's too short, mate.
Talk to me, mister. I mean, I come from the guitar world where there's only one capacitor inside the guitar, only one. And you would not believe the prices that people would pay for NOS capacitors just to change that capacitor, which is nothing but a low-pass filter. It's a resistor capacitor low-pass filter, that's it.
But
And people would pay
guitarists
sometimes
nerd
more than
out.
the guitar itself.
Guitarists nerd out
Sorry?
on guitars just like we nerd out on synths and filters. And
No. You're no competition with the guitar world.
Oh, trust
No,
me,
I've got mates that do it.
customers.
Trust me.
I've got customers that have got nuance aniality, like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously.
I know.
I mean, seriously.
I was in there. I was part of there until I said, "What the fuck? You all sounds the same to me, mate."
Yeah, guy with a Prophet 5, and one of the pots had broken off and he'd lost the knob, and he wanted me to replace the pot and the knob, but could I have it from one roughly the same, within
Age,
5 or 6
month.
of the serial number?
Yeah, gotcha.
Literally.
Wow.
Been there.
Yeah.
I know that.
So, but when I told him,
know,
we'll have to buy a Profit 5 roughly in that area then, and you're going to have to pay for that, so it's going to cost you about 10k to replace this pot. And he went,
Exactly.
all right, just
Well,
use,
the same part.
use anyone you can find then.
It's classic. If they don't, they ask for things and they don't necessarily.
Good old trying to luck.
They don't. You can't tell what value they attribute to that. If they think it's easy, they just ask for it as if it's the most important.
It's just
thing.
a capacitor.
As if
Tell
Kent's
them,
got this massive warehouse at the back of his
Yeah,
place there.
Well, isn't
Yeah.
that
Well,
what
he
synth
had it. He
engineers
just
have?
went in the skip.
A big rack full of every vintage capacitor,
I'm just gonna send. I'm just gonna send the little lackey out the back and just grab that part for you.
Hang on, I'll just it's like the warehouse in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
One
at the
moment,
end
please.
with the Ark of the Covenant.
It's like the old days when you used to go to
Hundreds
those
of thousands. The
those car
capacitor is
places,
over
wasn't
there.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like with the 80s, where the very early 80s, around about the 1976 ones, their filters are, dare I say this openly, they are
Go for
warmer.
it.
They are warmer
Yeah.
than the ones that they were fitting into the last of them in 1980, something like that.
Okay.
But they're so rare. You've got to put warm ones in, or should we say, not so warm ones in with the warm ones. But nobody really notices because nobody knows and nobody tells them. And because they don't know, they don't hear it. I hear it, but they don't. So
Because you hear
knowledge,
the before
knowledge
and
in
after.
this game is terrible.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't know,
Ignorance is bliss, mate. Ignorance is
Yeah,
bliss.
exactly. Yeah,
Sometimes
a lot of that.
It's better not to tell them either.
Yeah,
Because then they'll go, okay, well, can I have that one then? And you're,
yeah.
no.
They can pay me the extra money
Yeah,
to locate them.
he'll
for
just
it.
charge.
I've got no problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long
So
you got,
in
mate?
that, on that note, right? So with the CS80 Black Corporation, right? Have you ever touched one of their CS80 clones?
Deckard's Dreams.
Deckard's Dream. That's
Deckard
it.
Dreams. Yes, yes. I've had a Deckard's Dream here that didn't survive shipping.
Right. And you had to fix it.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
What did
Obviously.
you think of its engineering? Out of curiosity.
It's very nicely designed and very nicely built. I was very surprised to see that it was Curtis.
Yeah.
Because I went, wait a minute, how do you get into Curtis to do this? And generally speaking, yes, the sound is there. Not quite in areas. I mean, you couldn't get this 100% across the board to sound exactly the same as an 80, because they all sound different, and they're all twitchy and wobbly, and that's what makes them sound like they do. And it's very difficult to do that with modern electronics. Very close.
So is the CS80 for the people who never heard a CS80 in the flesh?
No, I don't think that would. I don't think that would really matter, because a CS80 in the flesh with no effects on it or anything like that sounds awful.
Oh, come on.
It
Sounds synthy.
It does.
Weak. It is weak.
Yeah.
Thin.
Okay.
Uninspiring.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely agree.
Really?
The aftertouch. Yeah, the aftertouch. The poly aftertouch gives it the character.
Yep. And the ribbon strip.
That's why
and the
I'm
rhythm strip.
dubious.
And the glissando and portamento, all the little nuances, and the chorus is sort of like so
ring mod.
noisy, you don't use it. The ring mod is beautiful.
The ring mod is amazing.
Ring mod is absolutely delicious.
There is
But it
nothing
has-
like it. Nothing like it.
But you always have this thing where you can have quick up and slow down, but you can't have slow up, quick down.
Yeah, true.
But that's the nature of the controller ramping on the PRA board.
But you get over it.
Yeah. Once you put reverb on it and make it creamy,
Yeah.
and mess with it, yes, then it starts to sound brilliant. And a lot of other keyboards are like that as well.
Absolutely.
SX400, the Tysco
That's
SX400.
not
Did
surprising.
they add like a? Did they add a vintage knob or some kind of slop to the Deckard's Dream to give it that more variability?
Yeah.
I detune, I think they had.
But you need quite a comprehensive knowledge of 80s to know how much to turn that.
Right.
Because what sounds like, oh, that sounds quite analog, and you go, no, that's too far.
Like some sort of real lo-fi LFO doing something in the background.
Yeah.
Once again, it's the same thing with the guitars. Even a 60s Fender Stratocaster, you plug it into a console. Trust me, there's very few sounds more dreadful than that. Very few. Is when you put it through a Fender amplifier who does a lot of filtering and a lot of driven frequencies on the right notches. And then you put it with some nice spring, if you like, or any, I love plate, I rather plate than spring, reverb. Then you have all the legendary tones you've been heard in the albums. But it's the same with everything.
Sometimes that's the case, like Kent's saying and you're saying, and then sometimes it's not. So I give you an example where it's not. True. So an ARP Odyssey without any effects has an amazing sounding oscillator. It's just got this real like ripping paper sound. Like it just really rips through a mix. It's just really quite unique.
Yeah.
I mean, put effects on it, it's even better.
It was the third attempt.
Like a mini Moog as well,
Yeah, like a mini Moog as well. But well, you got to remember, a lot of these synths, their waveforms, which, you know, like for instance, if you have a 5-volt square wave, which you would get from a Prophet 5 or an OB8, OBX, rather, and so forth, and that is not great, because if you measure an Odyssey, I think is around 12-volt waveform, so it's very powerful. It's very powerful, right? And a mini is going to be about 15, which is.
You're getting Dalek again.
Oh, Dalek again!
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm getting a sound
check
too.
Check it if it's him. It could be somebody else.
No, it's definitely me. Don't worry.
It's been over 2 hours. It's him.
Yeah.
There's like a timer on that.
Time out.
Hang on, let me just. Oh yeah, it's gone. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. It always happens after 2 hours. This thing ramps up.
I'm starting to believe, because I don't know shit, that
hang on, he's got it back.
Not his.
He's back. Yeah, that's better. It's gone.
Is it?
All I got to do is flip to 41 and then back to 48, and then I've got another 2 hours before it does it again.
I'm starting to believe it's not your hardware system. I think it's something.
Is that an ADAT connection? Is it?
It's not a computer.
No, it's USB-C to the Mac Studio through
weird.
a Focusrite. But the Focusrite's always
I'm blaming StreamYard.
That's always worked with a Mac as well.
Yeah, weird.
I'm blaming StreamYard. That's why it doesn't happen in PSN.
Yeah, well, when I do the pub tonight, I'm going to use a different browser called, what did you say it was called? Edge, and see if that does it.
Not the.
You said you tried other than StreamYard and still did it. So you tried some other stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did Firefox, Opera, and.
I don't reckon it's that. I reckon it's the audio interface. Is there a driver update for
it? Sort of.
He did it.
Kinda. I put it on and it crackled and went mental.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be a compliant device for the Mac Studio anyway.
Yeah, don't trust that.
Yep.
Needs a bigger hammer. That's all. So.
Yeah. So the control panel I've put on, but the crackling does it whether I have the control panel installed or not. So just don't know what it is.
When that noise started coming, you should have seen me fishing around for what that noise was. I'm like,
what the hell? Yeah,
mutant things. Thanks, Kent.
And the incredible thing is, even though I can hear the stream coming back, I don't hear it do it. I've never.
That's why I think it's a StreamYard. It's not in your hardware, because it's only coming out to the net, to the outside world that the sound generates.
Yeah, this is why I'm wondering whether it might be something browser related. So I'll try the browser tonight and see what happens.
And if you're ever wondering, Kent, why you look a little bit not so clear with the colours and everything, so that is not as normal. What you kind of look a bit more orange there, don't you? In a little way. Yeah, because it's going through a HDMI connection into my capture card, and that's how we're getting you from another laptop, which is sitting over somewhere else. So that's the best. I've tweaked the colors. That's the best I can get. Well, what's it doing that for? That's the best I can get it to do.
I just thought I had a nice tan.
Yeah.
Also, can't make sure you have all the extra tabs closed. All the YouPorn, all the OnlyFans, all those tabs have to be closed. So.
Oh, I keep them closed all the time because I don't want to frighten the dog.
OnlyFans. Oh my
God. Well, it's Native VS has his OnlyFans page. So.
What is he just doing? Filter sweeps every.
With a difference.
Oh, lovely! He's doing a filter sweep. Yeah.
He's getting his Moog modular out and he's doing a filter sweep. And, oh, look at that! Yay!
On a bearskin rug. Yeah. So.
Tweaky.
Yeah. So I think you're muted, Chris. That's better.
Okay, I said something very unwitty.
Oh, okay.
Impossible.
Kent, have you been following what Chris has been doing with his eurorack module, which is quite interesting? So he's been making a module that complements the 182 sequencer from System 100.
Yeah.
And he'll bring it up in a sec. Do you have anything there to show?
He lost it.
Nothing like an impromptu thing. Hang on. Hang on,
just one moment, please.
I've got his thing here.
Moving on. Different subject.
Get Inky on. She'll whipping him into shape.
It's destined to a customer. This one's destined to a customer, so I keep it in bubble wrap to keep it safe, clean.
Oh, good.
Oh, and it doesn't have the knobs on it.
So this is called the.
You can have that, Nate. No, that's a no.
No.
We can't have that.
You can't see it without the knobs.
Hang on, Eddie. This is called the GP82.
Sorry.
And so what it is you go out from your 182 via the gate out, and you go into the gate in on this thing, and you also can manipulate all the gate stuff that it can do, like ratcheting and you can talk about it, Chris, because it's your product.
Oh, my product. Yeah, I'll just get it in focus. Oh no, maybe I won't get it in focus. Yeah, basically, so it's a companion module that I'll go in focus. It's a the delay is. I tune it. Yeah. So it's a module that basically goes with the 182 and augments its sequencing capabilities to something a bit more interesting. So it has so it does things like clock manipulation. So you can do the obvious stuff like divide downs and stuff like that. Not very exciting, but what it can do as well is it can take the output of the 182 sequencer, feed it back into the unit, and it'll manipulate the clock that's going back into the 182 for the next step. What that means you can do is that you can have variable step lengths for each step in the 182 sequencer, or ratchets and things like that on each step in the step sequencer. So it basically means that you can have something more interesting than a regular 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. And it also has the ability to manipulate the gate length per step. This is one of the options you could choose, so that you can get variable gate lengths, which is the kind of thing you have in other more advanced sequences, but this is literally just does it all for hopefully much less cost than that, and less fuss because it's only 4 HP wide. And it's got these cool. This is the reason why it started, really. It's got these. What is going on with the focus? It's got these funky.
It's a Sony.
Stepped. Oh God, it's hard to demonstrate. Stepped. But there's 16.
The 16 segments, which is they're kind of funky things.
They're cool, but it means that you get, it looks quite cool, and it really means you can get positive, definite positions, which is a lot easier than other systems I've seen where you have to dial a variable pot, and sometimes it moves to the next step and then back again. And this stays completely locked in. It's completely digital. So what you select is what you get. So that's kind of kind of it in a nutshell.
Can you also vary the number of ratchets per step, like a short, like a brrr, and a brrr,
yep,
kind of thing?
Yep, you can do that. How am I getting worse? Sorry.
We were going to talk to you about that.
It's one of those days. Yeah, sorry. No, it does variable. You could do variable ratchets per step, or you can have a global ratchet. And one of the modes I've just designed to haven't programmed it yet, but one of the modes is where you can switch on and off the global ratchet step per step, and still also have gate time. So you get that's probably the most spicy mode, I would call it, because it really does give you more sounds out of the 182 with just one line of sequencer. So yeah.
2 questions.
Cool.
One,
no
that 182 has to be the Roland one, or could it be the Behringer one?
It is the
Behringer one.
Awesome.
There is no Roland one.
Second.
Well, there is if you've got a System 100, but
if you've got a System 100,
but his thing is not for the System 100; it's for a Eurorack.
Yeah, it's specifically for the Behringer.
Yeah,
Behringer
B182. Awesome. That's good and bad. Second, how do you tell that little thing to do all that with only 2 knobs?
It's a good question. It's got 2 knobs, but it also
there's some buttons on the top, right?
Yep, there's a button and an LED, a colored LED. So it's a bit like Mutable Instruments with their color-coded modes. So when
it actually reminds me a little bit of the WMD stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
It's quite a common,
quite a
common way of doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
So the button toggles you through the different modes, right? And the switches the switches will set what you're doing in each of those modes.
Correct.
So I need a cheat sheet. Getcha.
You do, yeah. To be honest,
there's a little one coming with it.
There's a menu.
Reminds me of Buffaco a little bit too, a little Buffaco style.
Yeah. But what I like about what Chris has done, right, is I mean you could also use this with a IntelliGel Metropolis as well. Even though Metropolis does some of this stuff, but you could use it as even more. So you could have ratchets on top of ratchets.
Ooh.
So what I like about it is he's looked at something that's been invented years ago, and he's thought, how can I make this work without having to reinvent that whole thing again, but just have it as a little add-on thing on the side.
No, I mean it's the concept itself is brilliant, mate. That
is innovation.
Sadly going in my bucket list. God, another one.
So what it reminds me a little bit, and this is completely not the product at all, but it reminds me of when Moog did the sequencer, the 960 or whatever it was for the big modular system, right? And then they made that
sequencer switch.
The sequencer switch thing. Which
Yeah.
gave it all this extra features.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I was going for.
Yeah,
because that's what I've seen. I've always liked that kind of take a function of something and then extend that function by manipulating. I actually thought for a while that's what all modular was like. That was the whole idea. But I've since understood, as I've gotten more into it, that it's much more nuanced and complicated than that.
Yeah.
But one of the other things I'm trying to do with this, that's you're talking about menu diving. There's kind of two, like a lot of modules. There's 2 ways of using it. You could either be surgical and be specific about what you want to happen, and other times you can just leave it in the hands of the gods and let be what be, and just twiddle knobs. So I try to keep it so that changing something and you don't know what you're doing still does something interesting. So I think that's kind of a prerequisite.
Well, I think that's what musicians do, right? So that's how happy accidents happen, isn't it?
Yeah. Some people, a lot of people do, but a lot of people also really want something specific.
You're just playing God here, right?
No.
No, it's brilliant, mate. Very well
number
done.
generator is playing God.
Well, it's a pro because once you have a modular tower, you already have an altar. So it's
Anyway,
very nice. We'll talk about that later.
There is an Etsy store. I haven't got anything on here, but when it's ready, there'll be units available.
Let us know, please.
Yeah,
I will definitely. Thank you, Eddie. for your interest.
Thank you, mate. You're the brain making the magic. We just use it.
Well, there's a lot of brains out there making a lot of magic with modular.
Yeah, but I can't afford it.
Yes, no, true. True.
So I want to bring Darren into this conversation because I know this is going to be right up his alley, right? Darren, when we're making music, so Darren and I kind of both have similar tastes in music, and we won't go into that. But one of the things that I found when I'm making my current album that I'm in the middle of just about to release is that I brought Eurorack modular sounds into the album, and a lot of it is quite sequenced. Right, a lot of it is very clinically sequenced because it's using control voltage, and one of the things that attracts people to modular is how beautifully perfect everything all just sounds when it's supposed to, and that's the great thing about control voltage. But then, if you want something to not be so perfect and you want it to be slightly swung out of the beat and stuff like that, how do you fit that perfect sound in with a bit more organic sound, or maybe even some live playing on a keyboard? Do you know what I mean? And that can be a massive challenge. So
it is.
It changes the way you produce. Is kind of where I'm coming from. Yeah. So Darren, are you hearing me? What do you do to sort of get around that sort of stuff?
Well, I don't try and get around it. That's the first thing. I just go with the flow. A bit like with the live set that I'm making. If I use anything from the modular, it's sort of random. I don't even have it clocked to anything, and then I'll sample all that, and then I will then work with it in Ableton or whatever.
That's brave.
And create. It's just a lot of it can be like atmospheric type stuff in the background, so. In a way, you don't necessarily need it clocked because it's just there drifting through. Or sometimes I'll just let that run, so it can be any bizarre sound off the Polygo-Go or anything, and then sample the bits out of it that I like. So the bass that you heard on, well, it wasn't my track, but Ray's track, some of that came from the Polygo-Go originally, and then it was just chopped up and then stacked on other stuff, stacked on bass from, I think the Monologue was one of them. Or it might have been the Pulse, I can't remember. And then even just generally samples as well. I don't mind chopping up them and layering them on. So I can have sometimes I've overlaid samples from random sounds, bass sounds that you can get, or anything in the studio. So yeah, I don't try and get around it because I'm not over bothered about, because my modular kit is mainly just there to get weird sounds coming out of it. I don't. It's very rare to clock any sequences in it. Occasionally I have done in the past, but I haven't done recently. Most of the time, it's just if I do use it, I just plug it in, see what comes out, sampling everything, and then cut it up. And sometimes a track comes out of the sounds that I get, which just gives you ideas. So yeah, I don't. So I suppose that's organically then sampled to make how I want it to fit in. So yeah, I don't really worry about.
That's impressive, mate.
So
it's very impressive.
So when you're like recording something that you're playing, like live, basically, like you're just tapping away on the keyboards behind you there, are you recording just the sound and then sampling it and mangling that, or are you recording the MIDI and the sound as well at the same time? What do you generally do, or is it depends?
It depends. Usually, I do record both because you never know if you happen to tap away at a really cool rhythm. So I generally do record both, but unless it's a really cool rhythm that I like, I don't always use the MIDI. It's just mainly the sounds that I mess about with. But I do record both, yeah, because you never know whether you're going to hit some sort of like cool melody. Especially if you put an arpeggiator on anything as well. So I just never know because I don't play, like I say, I don't play the keyboards and things. So I'm a bit sort of, I hate saying it, dead mousey, where I just have to put everything. I just mess about until I get what I like. I mean, I've got a little understanding.
Yeah, like many other people.
Yeah, I mean, I have a little understanding of things, and I can play to a little bit, but I'd rather just,
Yeah, but the final decisions you still have to take them, and the results that I've heard so far are brilliant.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, I don't see why that would
nothing
be
wrong about it.
something to be disappointed with yourself. Like just because you can see some people play piano like they're Beethoven's best mate, doesn't mean that you're bad. You're producing a different type of music
electronic
anyway.
music's all about it's the way you create the sound and the music. It's not particularly whether you can play Bach's on the piano or anything like that.
It's not your instrument technique, it's your production brain.
Yeah,
exactly. And because that's the way I've worked, well, ever since, because that's how I got into music. Because a lot of the bands I was listening to, Orbital and things, were all sort of that way. When they play live sets and stuff, that's how they were sort of working. I mean, some of them can play keyboards and they have a big history in music, but yeah, it's just basically it's the end product is what counts.
Yeah,
doesn't matter how you get there,
exactly.
as long as the end product is good.
It's when you start playing at pubs and they start asking you to play something that you don't know how to play.
Yeah.
Can you play Jump from Van Halen?
Yeah, exactly. Jinx, we both said at the same time. That's very sad.
Yeah. If they ask Ray that, they know what they'll get because he's not. True. He won't take any of that nonsense.
But it's interesting, Darren. You said that because I sort of think of electronic music as it's about the decisions the person making the electronic music makes and how that makes you feel, how that makes them feel, because it's often two similar things. It's the decisions. It's the decisions into, and it's just, we love electronic music because the freedom it gives us to be able to have more choices and to make those decisions. But again, it's not about making exactly the right decision. It's not about having an exact vision at the start of something.
Yeah,
it's just about the decisions you make along the way, and then the courage, I guess, to say this is finished and I'm willing to share this.
Yeah,
which is something.
Is the bouncing back?
I don't think you ever finish anything, do you? Nothing's ever finished.
No,
you're never 100% happy.
It's kind of it. Sometimes that decision arrives upon you, doesn't it? You don't actually make it.
I can get away with letting that go, but I'll always be. It's. I mean,
God bless deadlines.
I mean, Chris, I know you've listened to the album, the Life We Live 2, which is quite thought-provoking, and that came about.
Great.
Like I say, that came about decisions because that was actually writing the Echoes album, which was originally going to be released, and one of the tracks came from that, and that set that whole album off. So, like you say, decisions. It wasn't that album wasn't even going to be that album.
That's the thing.
They used to call him inspiration,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Darren, you've talked about before, Heaves. You said, "Look, I've got this idea. I've got idea for 10 tracks." That's kind of what you're talking about. It sets up. So you are, in a way, you're I mean, you may not be able to play keyboards, but you know what you want to hear. You had an idea about some of the tracks.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
I mean, that is creativity. That's what we should all celebrate. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
you know who's made a career of that?
What did
Do you know? Want to know?
Eddie Van Halen? I don't know. You tell us.
Well, that's another one, but not really. Have you ever heard of Rick Rubin?
You know he owned an Oberheim. No, keep going.
Ever heard of Rick Rubin?
Keep talking.
Producer for the Stars?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just... No, trust me, he's prolific. He's everywhere.
But nobody's heard of him.
Certain circles. Oh, okay.
Oh, I see.
Thank you. Yeah. So, basically, behind Run DMC, behind Walk This Way, that's Rick Rubin. Behind Metallica, behind Megadeth, behind mostly rap and metal and rock. He's made a career out of just not knowing how to push any buttons in a studio of any kind. Just telling the guy who knows how to push the buttons, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep it there. And walk away, go to the next project. That's his whole career. Is one of the most expensive. It's the Hans Zimmer of the metal world. Hey, hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
What you broke?
Yeah, right?
Hi.
It stinks in here.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I know. I was smelling it earlier. I go, what the hell is that?
Did he let one rip?
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope
you
it's not the
care.
Osmos.
Yeah. No, it's not warm yet.
Please. Yeah, good.
There's no one.
It's not the glue. The new glue. Holding up the panels.
Got an ozone leak somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're right there. It's and that's how I'm going with my live set, which I have this vision, and I'm just trying to create that vision. And sometimes it means me smacking. God damn, gee, I know what I want to do, but I'm just not getting there.
See, I think it's.
I'm in awe of the fact that you have the idea for 10 tracks. I haven't got the idea for one.
Yeah, you and me both.
You know,
have
you ever had the ideas for 10 tracks at the same time? I mean,
Well, he has
And
Spongella's
decade.
kid, so yeah.
And to keep them in your head. To keep them in your head for longer than 10 minutes. That's
is-
the problem.
that is
I have some
impressive.
great ideas,
Yep.
but
It
they
is
go in
discipline.
and I lose them.
Yeah, it is really a
Lose the
discipline.
ideas
But
so quickly. Yeah.
The Life We Live 2 was exactly that, because I wasn't originally making the second one to the Life We Live, the first album, and it was literally that one track, and I just had the 10. I think it's about 10 tracks. I just had them all pictured out, and then it was how I get those 10 tracks. So I don't have an issue of having the planning for 10 tracks. I mean, I have 3 albums in my mind. It's just getting time to do them and getting the tracks that I can hear in my head onto the out into the open. That's my bit of hard work. That's why I sit there doing this and no, come on, I know what I want, and that's when it gets frustrating for me.
We're not worthy.
Way.
Cool.
We're not worthy.
I know
I'm
what
not
I want,
worthy.
but I
You
can't
know what
get
you
there.
want as well? Oh,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But
man.
Decision paralysis. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all suffer from
No,
it.
it's
God, yeah.
in a way it's a good thing, and in a way that's my like, you know, when you get writer's block, I have that block that I know what I want, but I can't get it, and I don't know how, and I'm struggling, and it's like, because I don't want to spend too long on each thing. I'll put an album away if I can't finish me at 10 ideas. I'll put that album away.
Hang on, Eddie, I'm next.
I'll come back to it.
Yeah,
I'll come back to it for a while, in a while's time, and I'll be working on another one because that one's running and so on. Go on.
So it reminds me of when I Darren, you'll remember this. I talked about this. I made a track and I made too much of that track. So when it came time for me to let this go out on an album, I had to really cut it back. There was just way too much stuff that I made. I was enjoying myself. I was like, oh, it just needs this bit, and as you ended up with this massive body of work, and I was really angry with myself because I was like, there were parts of that track that I couldn't put on the end result because it would have been like a 25-minute long track. I could have, but I didn't want to because that's not what I wanted to end. And then later on, as I started to sort of mature about the idea and let it sort of sink for a year or so, I then realized, hang on a minute, I've actually got a track that I can do a part 2, and then I can do a part 3, and then I can do a part 4.
Yeah.
And what I've done
Jean-Michel
is I've released this. Those who know have got my albums, I've released one track, and then the second album came out, there's part 2, and then the third album comes out, there's part 3. And so I'm actually releasing one track slowly over multiple albums.
Yeah,
and
that
as I get to do
it, me for a while.
Yeah, as I get to do it, I get
Which
to play
album
with it
am
a
I
bit.
listening to?
Yeah, it's actually
that
quite.
track name's
I don't know if anyone's done that before, right? And
I've got my.
Where's the rules?
It's got like 10 parts.
Yeah,
one track.
Where's the rules? There's no rules, right?
Exactly.
Just do it.
No.
So sometimes when
that idea,
I punished myself so badly for this, I thought I was being stupid. But then I actually thought about it for a minute. I thought, that's actually genius. Why don't I just do that? And then it still lives. The track that I wanted to let everyone hear, it still lives, but it's in multiple parts. And if you've got someone who actually digs what you do, they'll be looking forward to part 3 or part 4 or maybe even part 5 if it ever comes out.
Yeah.
Because
you ever hide unlisted sneaky tracks on your stuff?
What's that, Andy?
You ever hide unlisted sneaky tracks on there, like it's track 8, but it's not on the list? You ever do that before?
I did that with my album Link.
A lot of bands used to do that.
It was kind of similar, but what I did was on the back of the CD, I put this really weird modular sort of connection matrix thing with the wires going, and all the tracks were listed in a random order. And so people were like messaging me saying, "Hang on a minute, Ranz, your tracks aren't in the order that you've put on the back of your CD. What's going on?" And I'm like, but if you follow the little cable that goes from there to there, you actually see that that's track
beautiful.
3. That's track 4. Okay. And someone actually go, you bastard. It was that.
Easter eggs,
Genius.
kind of.
Well,
Yeah.
I was
Genius.
putting
Because
Easter eggs
I
like
set
in
up
the very
my
first EP.
I set up my SoundCloud
Sorry.
in about, what was it, 2012 or something like that, and it was sort of like a litmus test to see what people were how they would respond to anything that I wrote. And after about 8 years, I discovered that really, if I don't try very hard and try and do it as quickly as possible, if I can get a track done in an hour and then just up it, they love it. Anything I spend lots of time on and craft, they're not so interested.
Yeah.
But I can't be like that, so the whole thing was a waste of time, really. But yeah, if I just go
SoundCloud is
I know
a
what you
waste
mean.
of time.
yeah, well, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I stopped
It
going
really
pro.
is.
I'm not paying for that anymore.
Oh, yeah, they completely ripped us off with that, didn't they? Yeah. What I ended up doing with SoundCloud was kind of similar, but I ended up pulling all of the stuff off that was commercial because I just thought, well, people are just going to go on SoundCloud and just listen to it. And I thought, I don't mind if they do. But then I thought, hang on a minute, I don't actually mind if people go on SoundCloud and listen to it, but I don't want SoundCloud, the company, right, to have that. That's why I pulled it off. So
Make a profit out of it.
you can go on Bandcamp and listen to my stuff for free because I don't mind the ethics behind the way Bandcamp run their shit there. It's nowhere near as bad as what Spotify and SoundCloud and some of these people are like, right? Yeah. Because, let's face it, I'm never going to make more than a couple of $100 on an album that I release. That's probably the most of it. And that's probably, I might actually be making a lot more than some people who are watching the show and think, wow, $100, that'd be amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, that's, you look at what you earn when you actually do your job. It's like you're earning thousands a month, right? But it's a love. You've got to.
Sometimes you get lucky too. I sold 20 seconds of the track to my work once for bumper music.
Yeah,
and it was $200.
I could probably make a bit of money if I became a cover artist.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
If I put up a track of a Vangelis track, for instance, it goes through the bloody roof.
Because it sounds amazing. Yeah.
Because you're very good at
it. But they're happy to click on it because they know what they're going to get beforehand, and that's the key part. And if it's sort of like, oh yeah, this isn't bad, he's not playing with his elbows.
Certain people.
But have you ever tried to do a Vangelis track, but not his track? Your own rendition of what you think. So I did that once, and it actually came up. People really liked it, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll do it again.
That is the track that got more listens than any other track on the entire thing. Where I made up a track as I went along, but did it in Well, Vangelis will now go to there, and then he'll do that and all that dramatic bit and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
and then played it all on 80, and it just went through the roof. It's mental.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the 80's going to do half of the job for you, isn't it? Right, as long as you kind of nail some of those sounds. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so that was easy pickings.
All right, off you go, Eddie. We got to wrap it up in a sec too, by the way. Go, Eddie.
Just a quick one before it goes away. I wanted to reply to Darren. It's a joke, obviously, but you said you also get to writer's block. And from outside, what it seems that your writer's block is not, I have no ideas. It's, I cannot get my ideas out.
Yeah,
that's what it seems.
That's my right.
Like to you.
Yeah.
Dude, change it. Changes. Really, please. I change that all day long.
Sometimes I have.
Can we swap?
Sometimes I have too many ideas.
Swapsies, yeah.
I've started too many things.
Yeah, I've got to shut myself up. That's the problem. My head is swimming with so many thoughts, and I get overexcited, and then nothing happens because it's just like I just can't sort of. And so that takes it like Darren has got a really good discipline in him. He's really disciplined. He doesn't want to admit it, but he is.
I'll tell you one thing. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, a secret. every track that I release is not the track I was going to release. Because that
It
track
never is.
usually...
Yeah,
because it's a track that I've started before, and then I've got sort of sidetracked. I might have even moved a little bit out of that track, and it's created a different track, which then sets off something else. So I never released the track that I'm writing.
And
at the
he's
time.
complaining. Please kill that guy. He's complaining.
But guys, in all seriousness, you guys hear me say just about at the end of every show, just about I say, don't forget, guys, to press record, right? And if you guys do that, and you go back and listen to some of the stuff that you recorded 12 months ago, 2 years ago, and then you probably think, okay, yeah, it's just as crap as what it was when I, didn't want to use it. But then put it into your DAW and fix the things that you don't like about it, and you never know, that might be another track that you can pop out.
Yeah,
or not even that.
It's happened to me.
Just take little bits out of it and mess about with it, and create a whole new track.
Sample.
That's a lot of what I do.
Yep.
Brilliant
ideas.
Rubbish.
Yeah, brilliant ideas.
Just cut snippets from it, and before you know it,
I've done the same thing with a couple of tracks that just noodles that I've done, and they're just noodles in a large like modular session or something like that, and I mine them for beginnings of tracks for my videos on my YouTube channel, and sometimes I end up making a track out of it and go, actually, that was actually quite a good track. I had no intention of making it. But so that really rings true now. That's why I record everything, because it's like you never know when. Sometimes it's just context.
And so you should.
Well,
Suddenly,
that's the thing,
you
Chris.
put something in a different context. Yeah,
I listen to some people's noodles, and they actually release that as albums. Then basically they've released their noodles on modular as an album, and people are like, throwing thousands of dollars at these albums. They're crazy. And I'm looking at it going, I wouldn't do that. Hang on a minute, that's not finished. That's just someone playing with the sequencer. But then you get,
but that's you.
Maybe it is
knowing the difference.
Well,
it's
that's
music
like
is not in the artist; it's in the listener.
The same. Yeah, I'm a bit the same. But
but most musicians are more worried about what their peers think than the audience that's actually buying the stuff. They go, God, if matey boy heard me playing this, because he'll know. He'll know. Yeah.
I didn't quite get that filter sweep right.
I remember when I used to think that people who were into synths don't have friends. Little did I know, all of you wonderful people are here.
Wow.
That's because none of us have friends either. We're all friendless together.
Yeah. We're friends and friendlesses.
Yeah.
Just a cast
so we do have peers, and we do
but once again, we're the worst.
But it's easy to say
our own worst critics.
It's easy to say, don't worry what other people think, but
we
all do.
At the end of the day, you all do.
We all do.
Yeah.
There's nothing going to stop you from doing that.
I sent a film score to Hans Zimmer to listen to. How stupid is that?
Yeah.
Right?
It's not stupid. And did it throw it on the bin?
Well,
you don't know.
Well, he got back
Check
to me
his
and
whole
said,
work.
he goes, and he went, mate, no. That's what he said.
Yeah, but
mate,
not for the project.
Oh,
but that doesn't mean it's not good. It means it's not useful for him.
No, the fact is he got back to you.
He did get back to you.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Well, we're always talking on Messenger anyway, but it's just sort of like, nah, mate. Right.
But
it's not stupid.
But hang on, let's just pause on that, right? But that's just his opinion.
Exactly.
I mean, we value his opinion, right? We value it.
I agree, but I also sent it to Richard Hilton, and he came back and critiqued everything that was wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I asked for that, and that's fair. Yeah. So that's fine. That's not the problem. But what they're critiquing, and this is the part that annoyed me more than anything else, is what I knew was wrong with it when I sent it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do? But knowing you go, but let it go anyway.
Because sometimes you don't have the insight to know how to fix it in the moment. That's what I mean. New ears, let the
strength
simmer.
You've got sometimes you've got to have the strength within you to go. I've got to go back and make that better. And sometimes you're just like, fuck it, I can't do that.
Exactly.
I just don't have the energy.
I can't face it.
Re-recording.
You abandon it.
It feels like you're going backwards.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to backtrack sometimes because you feel like you've put in all this energy. And
I guarantee you, when I release my album, there'll be people who will go, notice that little mistake there? I noticed when he didn't quite get that bit right. Oh, I can hear a little pop sound that he didn't quite get right when the digital mixer didn't quite do this job properly. And I'll be like, fuck it, it's going in the album. I don't care because I'm not going to go and re-record that thing
I was
again.
going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I've had that on a track on SoundCloud where there was for some reason there was a click, some sort of glitch in the WAV file, and it did this thing.
Yeah.
And somebody did, you know, when you do little comments underneath, you go, "Oh, was the glitch intentional?"
Exactly.
Well, I uploaded it.
Yeah, mate.
Phrase. Keep this phrase in mind. Repetition legitimize.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Also, there's a famous glitch in the Halloween 2 CD, audio CD soundtrack, Halloween 2. And I bought several of them. I kept returning it, buying it. It's the same place on the CD. And it went out, and no one ever caught it.
Yeah.
And they screwed it up, you know?
Because it's not only can anybody tell, it's also
it wasn't the recording.
Do they even give a
because I
crap?
have the album. Yeah, the album was normal.
Yeah.
The digital version on the CD had a glitch.
Okay, that's different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But they didn't catch
manufacturing mistake. Good.
It's a mastering thing. They didn't catch it. Yeah.
I made a track where the crash cymbal was way too loud in one of my tracks. And I know it's there. It's there. People, go listen to it. Go get your ears deafened by it. It's there. It was not deliberate, but I thought, fuck it, just leave it.
Yeah.
I mean, clicks and pops you can take out in a second with Isotope RX, you know. So
Yeah.
those little things you can tweak.
Yeah.
Okay,
I could
clips.
afford it back then.
You would not believe how many classic albums have clipped tracks in them, as in overloading the needle, pinging the needle.
Guys, it's just hit midnight here, and I've got to get up in 6 hours to take my kids to sport. So I'm going to have to end it. I really am sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your conversation. Don't. Please do continue it somewhere else. No, do continue it next week.
Elsewhere.
Yeah, you don't have to go there.
496 Ranzee Show.
Quickly, let me get through the thank yous, and because I've got to go. Big thank you for Kent for coming onto StreamYard. We do value your conversation and everything. It's really nice to have you, mate.
We do.
Thank you very much. Also, big thank you to Darren. Always love talking to Darren about his track making. I reckon we could talk hundreds of episodes. Yep. Big thank you to Darren.
And check out Rave Dave's last week.
Big thank you to Andy and his amazing curtain behind him as well.
What's that?
Tasty.
Roat.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
Tasty Roat.
Fair enough. Big thank you to Chris for filling in the boots of one of the people that are missing this week and playing with his knobs. No. And the other stuff. Big thank you to Eddie for wearing his T-shirt because that was such a hard job. Thanks, Eddie. Nice you have. And also thanks for the other week as well.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Appreciate it.
Best birthday gift ever.
Don't forget to press record. Aha! Be nice to your mum. See you later. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Yeah.